Well, hey, welcome to the show before the show, where I check to make sure everything's working. I'm your host, Patrick Marlette, and I'm joined by co-host Will. Hello, Will.
Yep.
This is the show before the show, where we just talk about everything. So, Will, start. Tell me everything about you right now in this moment.
Well, that's what the internet's for, right? It tells you about
Oh,
everything.
should I could just search you up right now. Should we do a little Google search? Make this a creepy game. So if you don't know, if we are bestowed by the wizard gods product, well, we get to crack a few packs with you guys. So before we start this one up today, we're going to open up a little bit of Fallout, the latest set, which, I mean, is about to be outdone very quickly by Outlaws of Thunder Junction. I don't know if you guys have caught up with the spoilers at all. Every single one's been a banger. I kind of wish that Saddle was an effect for at least around Ixalan, because there's a lot of dinosaurs that I think all of us would want to saddle. That seems weird to say, but like functionally it's really, really cool, and I'm super excited to discuss all of the new Outlaw cards, at least the ones that we find notable, and there are a ton, so we will try to jump into this one sooner rather than later. But how are you all doing? Let us know in the comments, and we've got some Thunder Junction to open later. I'm not going to ruin anyone's spoiler season, but Will, we got all these packs. I guess we could do like 2 each, and I think I usually always take the left side. Do you want the left side of the box now?
Your call. I'll let you divvy them out as you see reasonable and fit.
Well, I mean, like, so I would shuffle it for like fairness sake, because I don't know how they map these boxes out. Like maybe one side gets all the good stuff, but then I also, just as a case study, want to know where the good stuff is, so that you guys know.
Rig it next time.
Right, so that when I go to the store and I see that the box is missing everything from the left side, I'll know that someone else knew that that's where all the good mythics were. Yo, hey Abzo. Ooga booga. Hey Zodiac Saint. Yeah, guys, let us know, by the way, if there are any cards from Outlaws of Thunder Junction we missed that you find notable for Commander players. We are going to be discussing this through the lenses of cEDH players today. That doesn't mean we won't touch on everything, though. So if there's something of interest to you, we'll definitely want to cover that first. And also, before we begin the actual set review, Will's going to cover some of the new keywords. If I'm not mistaken, there are 4 in total. So if, again, you haven't caught up with any of the videos that WotC's been putting out, they've been very good with this set. We'll get you up to speed today. But yeah, cheers to you, Will. Cheers.
Indeed. Cheers.
All right, let's start with me. So yeah, tell me about your day, Will.
Pretty regular day. Had a good amount of calls today for HVAC stuff, and then as I was finishing up my day, I got a whole bunch of notifications for work stuff, and I'm like, wow, my week tomorrow is gonna look hectic, and it's weird because half of these are things that I'm being told I need to do, but I already did. And
Ooh.
I don't know if they're going to have me try doing them again, like an emissions test for my truck.
What? Okay, well, why would they make you do it again? If
I don't know, because I think I went up there the first time, then they didn't actually plan on having me go up, so I think they canceled it when I was already up there. So then I did the emissions test, and now I think they're like, well, you're supposed to do the emissions test later, so we're going to have you do the emissions test later.
So I actually use Treasure Vault, by the way. You just take the car to do I'm sorry. This is the truck you use for work.
Emissions test, and then I keep the emissions test in my truck, and that's it.
Got a black market. You excited for that? It keeps wanting to lock onto my face. I gotta fix that for you guys. Squirrel nest. Actually, here. I can do it this way. Come on. I know how to use lenses, I think. There we go. Squirrel nest. Behemoth Vault of Vault 0? I think I saw that. Nuclear Fallout. Okay.
The red draw card. Wild Wasteland.
Is it foily? No.
No.
Fervent Charge. Hey! This is foily. You know, that video is actually doing well. There's a lot of people that disliked our comments on it, or I don't know why. I don't know why you dislike a deck tech. without leaving a comment. Like, let us know what you had, what troubled you with that deck, because it definitely outperformed in my opinion. Oh shit! Hey, Temple of Malady. Can always use more duels. Temple of Malady, and we've got a Surge Foil Lily Bowen. Hell yeah, Smoldering Marsh. These are, I think, new dual lands. Am I wrong, or is this a reprint as well? Tapped unless 2 more basic. Yeah. Well,
it's the Tango, right?
Scavenger Grounds. It's a dual that is a slow land. You need 2 or more basics.
The battlefield tapped unless, yeah.
Another Desert Scavenger Grounds and Mysterious Stranger. That's not a bad pack. Oh shit! It keeps going. God damn. So this is a reprint of Azula, and I think that's it. That should be effectively it. So what we're looking for, people. I'm gonna be out of focus. I'm sorry. Well, what we're looking for are all of the vending machines we can get. We cracking packs, Trickster. Of course, we're cracking packs. This next pack's for Will. So a little bit of ASMR for you guys. I find it's easier to open these from the bottom, by the way.
Yeah. Didn't I teach you that trick?
I heard it online.
Oh. Don't we communicate online? I feel like that's an indirect way of saying that I taught you the trick.
All right, it might have been Will. I think it was you. There's got to be a better way.
It was during the Ixalan stuff. I think I was like, oh yeah, you open from the bottom there. It's easier to open for some reason.
Okay, let's set this. Okay, here. Bam. Yeah, autofocus at its best. Let's go. Okay, this is Will's pack. Sunscorched Divide. Ooh, little filter land.
Those are the new lands. Thank you. Are the new ones.
Right, because we've had functional versions of this before, if I'm not mistaken. Like, we've had a Golgari one, at least, to my recollection.
We've had filter lands of every color, and then we got additional ones that got printed in this set. Oh. So you can have multiple of certain colors with filter lands.
All right, would you be excited if you pulled Trouble in Pairs today?
Fun thing about Trouble in Pairs. I don't know if you have seen the stuff about Trouble in Pairs online.
Oh, I've seen it. I've seen it. And he keeps getting piled on. This fucker. Sorry, this person. Oh my god. And it upsets me because I really like the art, and it goes to show I really liked it because it stole from the works of like minimally 3 people. So fuck that person. But also, like, kudos for at least stealing good work. I mean, I really, I like the art so much because it's so goofy, but it all makes sense now. It all makes sense. At any rate. Oh, what camera are you using? We're on a Panasonic S5 II. This is not the... Ooh, I love this guy, dude. Dude, it looks so good. Foil! Oh, damn it. It looks so cool. What you can't tell on camera, maybe you can, it's like red vision is casting like a conical glow. Tell me if you can see that conical glow.
Yeah, I can.
Dude, it's so apparent in person. That is one of the cooler foils I've seen in a while. Drowned Catacombs. All lands. Aradesh, the founder. Ooh. Your Mono White Dreams. Basilisk Collar. Okay.
Collar. The best card, the best boy.
Yeah. Inventory Management. Probably my favorite thematic card from the set. And hey, speaking of best boys, a little bit of dog meat. Vandal Blast. Oh, yeah. Vandal Blast.
I might use that at some point.
You should. You should use that. Energy Reserve. Okay. Cool. That's a little token for you. Yeah, definitely cracking packs. I shoot on a Panasonic. Again, I maybe recommend it, I guess, if you have the cash to throw around, but Panasonic's got a good range of models that you can buy. That, and then there's a 24-70 on the lens. The lens is a 24-70 on the body. Whew! What's up, you guys? Nibiru. Not much. We're just opening Fallout. Cross your fingers that we get a Nuka-Cola vending machine, please. I'll give you it, Will, if I pull it, because you sound like you want to use it.
I think there's a Nuka-Cola vending machine in the Commander decks, which we may also have gotten.
Oh, we did.
Okay.
It's in a box next to Thunder Junction.
No, Patrick, we don't talk about that.
You guys don't even know. Yeah, we're not going to open any of that. But hey, it's a real product. How much? So these lands are freaking amazing, by the way. Okay. Oh, this is me. The Nipton Lottery Memorial to Glory. I don't recall this land, but I don't think I need soldiers. Junktown. Despache.
A Despache.
Yo, this might be a better
Despache art.
This might be. I didn't realize it got reprinted. You know, I don't generally look for the reprints from these sets, but yeah, this might be. It's freaking awesome looking. I mean, it doesn't get more Despache than that. Oh damn. An inexorable tide. Ooh. McCready, Lamplight Mare. Okay. It's cute. Temple of Abaddon. Like that. Tato Farmer, you tell me.
Tato. It's Tato Farmer.
Tato! Thank you. That makes so much more sense. Austere Command. I think casual players like this, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I wouldn't know. But that's cool. Feral Ghoul. Fervent Charge. Diamond City.
Noise.
I don't know what that does, but who cares? Ravages of War. I'm not gonna lie. Holy crap, this looks good. I recently sold my Ravages. Too many people complained, so I sold it.
If you love something, set it free. If it comes back to you, it's yours.
I might just use that version though. West Tech Tyrant. I think it's foily. And a treasure token. The treasures from the set look really good. Oh god, we need to make room here. Hold up. That's me. Okay, we're gonna go one more pack, folks, and then we're gonna get into the OTJ. OTJ. I don't know why it's just fun to say, but we're talking about poop right now. Thank you, Tato. How did I not get Tato Farmer? Tato. I mean, you say Tato, I say Tato.
Yeah, he's from the city of Tato.
Nah, like, the only potatoes I get come shoestring or crinkle cut, my friend. I don't know what Tatos are. We're Tatos. I actually love potatoes, and I do really mean baked potato. Baked potato and baked potatoes. I'll bake the shit out of anything. Potatoes, all day, every day. Tomato farmer. All right, Will, this is your last pack. Read them and weep. You have Temple of Enlightenment. We've got Wasteland Raider. There's 3 of them. So I was going to say Raiders, but it's only Raider. Super Mutant Scavenger.
All right.
Talisman of Creativity. Hell yeah.
I like how we just got the alternate art printing of that from Doctor Who.
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not going to complain, but the art for this one is just better. Sorry.
The sunglasses are better than that, don't lie.
Oh, look, some of the talismans from Doctor Who I do prefer. I'm not going to lie, though. As a kid who grew up in a comic shop, I'm going to enjoy the Awesome Magazine variant instead. But yeah, nice on that.
Hey,
strong, yeah. The guy we really want to be awesome. Nipton Lottery, okay. Seen enough of that today. Woodland Cemetery, okay. Ferris Lake.
It's another one of the filter ones.
Mystic Forge.
Oh.
Shiloh Work Desk. Is it foily?
I
think it is, but it's very subtle. Wow, the blacks are black. It's like
you can see it in the text box easier than you can see it in the art.
Yeah, it's actually an OLED card. They used an OLED panel for this, so when the blacks are black, they're very black. They just shut those pixels off. That's how OLED works. And all right, moving on. Almost Perfect. Sergi. Temple of Triumph. 3 Dog. Wait, you like 3 Dog?
Yeah, 3 Dog.
You like the 3 Dog?
Yeah, 3 Dog.
And lastly, Wasteland.
Oh yeah, Wasteland's sick.
Wasteland is sick. Ah, shit. All of these are sick. Can you get these foil?
Maybe.
I kind of like
foil.
No,
my Vandal Blast was foil.
I don't think it was, sir. Oh fuck, it is.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can I trade you, Will? Can I give you a regular one?
You get a non-foil one, sure.
Really? Oh shit.
I'd be down.
No, I mean, I'd have to commit to making a red deck and inventory management, but the themed version. Okay, cool. How you doing, by the way, Will? Says Trickster.
Been doing well.
Been doing well.
I'm looking at my schedule for next week, and I'm like, what the crap is going on? And I'm just gonna be preparing for that. It's not gonna be hectic. It's just gonna be very weird. Also, I'm slinking into the corner of my camera more and more because as the sun is moving.
Oh, are you able to close the blind?
I can find something and put it up, but it'll take like a minute. I'll actually do that really quick before we actually start the show.
Yeah, do your thing. Oh god, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to hit that button. Here, we're gonna start in just a second. I just want to change the focus mode for you guys. Huh? My camera gonna follow me? Yeah, it's a little slow though. There you go. Oh, can you hear it? I'm gonna increase the sensitivity and the speed at which it tracks. Okay, set. Perfect. Okay. I can't tell if Pac's making stuff up about the OLED. No. So apparently that's how it works. Like, I don't know. I watch a lot of Linus Tech Tips. Shout out Linus. They do a really good job on their channel covering tech news. Both that, Short Circuit, all their other, like, branded content. But I remember them talking about, I don't think it was the Steam Deck OLED, but it was some form of OLED monitor. And he always references how they shut the pixels off. Or I might just be putting words in his mouth. But I'm pretty sure he said something about that. Like, that's how QOLED or OLED works. I don't know if it's like a different form of OLED or it's all OLED panels do this. But I gotta tell you, like, when I turn my Steam Deck OLED on, the startup screen is just the Steam Deck icon. On the side, like, if you look at the profile of the device, it is dead. Like, there's no luminance whatsoever except for the Steam Deck icon. So you can make me a believer. Like, it looks like those pixels are just off when it's pure black. But I'm pretty sure that's how it functionally works. Because when I play games on that Steam Deck, like, because I do a lot of streaming from my PS5, it looks so good. It looks so damn good. It's funny, I've got a big screen in my living room, but I'll still use my OLED Steam Deck when I'm playing games like Cyberpunk or anything on my PS5. I want to revisit Ghost of Tsushima. I remember buying the add-on, what was it called, DLC, but I never played through it. So I think I might just start a new game for Ghost of Tsushima and just play through it on my Steam Deck because it would look so good. I still also need to beat the newest God of War, Ragnarok. I just never... I'm like right at the end. I do this with games. I get right to the end and I stop. Do you do that, Will, at all with RPGs or any game?
There are some games where I do that, yeah.
And it's not like I don't like the game. It's just I'm not interested in ending the experience. If that makes sense. Like, I just don't...
the journey.
Yeah, and like I've had the journey, so... miniature black hole pixels. Exactly. That's exactly how OLED works. But Will, you think you're ready to start this one? We can do the keywords and stuff in a second?
Yep. And I'm gonna have the one random line. There's not a ton I can do about that without having to actually freaking tape a blanket to the wall or something.
We like the random line. It looks good. Is there a reason you don't use Moxfield for playtesting, Pat? We'll get to that in a second.
Oh, we have an entire stream dedicated to that if you'd like to check that out.
Is that true?
Yeah, from like I think 4 or 5 months ago, something like that.
Do I just talk about how I don't like it, or Architect, or any of the?
We tried out building decks on stream with all 3 Architect, Moxfield, and tapped out, and rated the experience.
I'm sure it was premium content. Look for that stream, but. Hey guys, welcome to Local Game Group. I'm your host, Patrick Marlatt, your local game guy, joined by co-host Will. Hey, Will.
What's up?
And not much, dude. Just all of the Outlaws are out, guns a-blazing. We're going to have a pickled pig of a time. Pickle me pig.
Don't think they do. We're going to have a real shindig.
Real hootenanny. Real... At any rate, Outlaws of Thunder Junction. It's right on the horizon. So get your 6-shooter ready to blow the competition away with all the latest commons, uncommons, rares, and mythics.
Before you dive, cringe. What?
Before you die, exactly. But guys, it's the Wild West themed set coming out of the creative minds of Magic the Gathering, and I gotta say, I was not, and I have a poll going now. I'm interested to see where you guys are with this set, but I didn't really dig the theme at first until I saw all the supporting material and the product, and I gotta say, it's kind of won me over, particularly because mechanically, all of the spoils we've had, we have a very long list to go over, but they're all really good. They're all really good cards. Like, I don't think you'll be upset opening packs of this particular set, because it's something in every rarity that is good, that you'll just want in your collection. So good job, Watsy. This set's a banger. I am curious, though. I know we always talk about power creep. Maybe if you guys see anything that's creepy in this set, let us know. But there's just a lot of stuff that's just really good. But before we begin, I did want to cover the 4 new keywords that we found from the set. I'm going to let Will run through all the specifics of them, but it's Spree, Saddle, Plot, and Outlaw. Yeah?
All right. So to start off with Spree. Spree is a new keyword where you have a spell with a choose one effect that basically allows you to stack on other effects onto the card, and you have to pay, and each of these effects have their own cost attributed to them. So you have to pick one. When you pick one, you have to pay the cost for it, and then the spell does that thing. If you want it to do more things, you can have it pay. You can pay for 2 effects, and it can have 2 effects, or all 3 effects. It gets all 3 effects. For those who did not know, you cannot choose the same effect more than once, and you have to choose at least one, meaning that you can't play a card that does literally nothing.
Right. It's interesting. So it's not like a kicker or multi-kicker in that sense. Like, you can't do, like Will was saying, you can't repeat the same plus, but it is an additional cost. So when you put it on the stack, before this ever gets resolved, you do need to choose the one or more. I have a card up on screen just for reference as you're going through this, Will, but that's an example of Spree with Trash Town. We're probably not going to talk about Trash Town, but you'll notice that there's also a new indicator at the top right of the card, just above the mana symbol with a plus. That is referring to what Will was talking about, all those modes that you can select. It's telling you that it's green plus what's on the card. Right. So it's pretty easy to follow. I don't think there's any rule complications with this one. It's I don't know. I like it. I like Spree. I want to see. It's also interesting because remember that you're only counting the cost at the upper right when you're talking about the CMC of a card or the mana value of a card. So that might benefit us in some situations with Spree cards. Again, we haven't seen everything yet. So all of the best cards we're talking about today are just the ones that have been spoiled so far. We'll do a full set review later. Anyway, Saddle?
So Saddle is another keyword that says that you can tap creatures whose total power is equal to or greater than the saddle cost on a card, and then a card gains an additional effect because of that. Think of it kind of like Exert mixed with what is it called? Exert mixed with Crew. So you have to tap creatures, and then when you tap these creatures, you get an additional effect, usually for combat.
Yeah, it's quirky. I don't know. Do you like this new mechanic? Because it also introduced a new subtype. So all the cards that have saddle associated with them, to my knowledge, also are blank mounts. So we're looking at Archmage's Newt. It's a salamander mount. So that's how you can kind of immediately know there's going to be some sort of saddled effect to it. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
I like it. I think mount is a good effect because you get the creature, you get the base effect, but you can get some extra benefits for tapping your other creatures. A lot of the time, in cEDH at the very least, you don't want to attack with all of your creatures, so getting a little bit of extra value with Saddle is kind of cool.
I agree. It doesn't add the value of the thing that's saddling it to the attack. So something like Archmage's Newt, it's going to be a 2/2 when it's going in, and I don't think it gains any evasion, sadly, but it's still like quite a good effect. Attached to a rare. So I mean, I would really look at saddle cards based off of your command. Again, we're reviewing this as commanders. I would look at the value based off your commander, because you're likely always going to have that in play as an option. Yeah. The thick plottins, Will?
Yes, the next keyword is plot. So plot functions near identical to foretell, except you pay the cost written on the card to put the card into exile, and then on any turn other than the turn you plot the card, you can cast it for free. So,
we
cool
need to talk about. I'm sorry, we need to talk about crime as well.
Yeah, we can talk about crime. Oh yeah, I don't know why I didn't write that down as a thing.
It's okay. It's okay.
But with plot, you can cast the spell for free on any turn other than the turn that you plotted the card. But you can only cast that spell at sorcery speed, which is very notable for the new Jace and why the new Jace feels sad.
Yeah, it's like minorly sad. I still feel like it's playable, but it's annoying that, obviously I think because there's so many cards with plot, we're looking at a creature right now with plot, so it makes sense that it's at sorcery speed. Creatures can't have flash on them. They can't operate at instant speed, but I don't know, maybe they were trying to avoid making it too good. But it's fine.
But I just wanted Jace to be a dork that gives you roughly 3 mana every turn by just letting you plot in counter spells and stuff. But no.
Amazing. But nah. We can move on to the keyword outlaw before we go into crimes.
Sure thing. So for those who don't know, a while back we got something that was a mechanic called Party in Outlaws, similar to that, where it's a pile of different creature types aligned together for certain effects. So, for any card that cares, an Outlaw is a creature that is either an assassin, a mercenary, a pirate, a rogue, or a warlock.
Yeah.
Usually you'll have an effect with some kind of positive effect if your creatures are outlaws. There's a very funny rules text that we got that I brought up on the Discord with one of these cards, and it's not on the list, but it is a potentially fun card to note just for the rules text.
We can try to bring it up if we see it.
All right, and then the final thing and the most memey keyword out of all these are memey effects from this entire set. It's crime, more specifically, committing a crime. What's committing a crime? Targeting an opponent or any of their things with a spell or ability.
Right.
This is fun.
What I like you brought up is that you realize group hug is technically a crime.
Yeah.
Any group hug strategy that relies too heavily on targeting your opponents for effects.
Yeah, you and target opponent both draw a card. That's a crime. That's a crime. No doing that. It's a crime.
I kind of dig that. There's a lot of good cards for group hug, I suppose, that have come out recently. We're looking at Nimble Brigand, though. So basically, the crime in this instance makes him unblockable, and when he deals combat damage, you get to draw a card. Kind of cool effects. I think in a limited environment, it will be nice. I think here it's going to be fine. We've got card advantage out the wazoo. Maybe not necessarily in blue, but between those two enchantments, you know which ones I'm thinking about. You're probably set. Regardless, that covers all the new keywords, and now we should get to covering all of the cards. And this is not going to be in any particular order outside of the spoiled cards up until this point. So we're going to start with Trash the Town. We're not going to discuss everything, though, I should say. So we're going to start up at Trash the Town, but we've got a short list of that's a lie. We've got a list of cards we're going to go over. I'll let Will introduce the cards, and I'll give my 2 cents, and of course we'll obviously defer to you all. If you guys have any thoughts on any of the cards, feel free to leave a comment in the live chat, and of course in the comments after this video releases. Of course, we're not covering everything because not everything's out, but if you want to add your 2 cents about the latest released cards after this video comes out, feel free to leave that in the comments as well.
All right, well, to start it off, the most recently spoiled card that had some utility to it was Nurturing Pixie. So 1 white for a 1/1 fairy rogue with flying that says, when it enters the battlefield, return up to 1 target non-fairy, non-land permanent you control to its owner's hand. If a permanent was returned this way, put a +1/+1 counter on this. I'll say the only reason why this is on this list, it's better Glinthawk. Some decks care about Glinthawk, and it can bounce enchantments, and it can bounce creatures in addition to just artifacts.
Yeah. It is you control. So if you're playing a stacks list that incorporates, you just got a really good new rule of law effect. But things like that, that you might want to remove before you go to your combo turn. Maybe some line of play does require you cast, additional spells. You can do that. Of course, you could manipulate this with any sort of mana plus effects, like a mana vault, mana crypts, anything that's going to go mana positive off of casting this, because sometimes you just need the extra generic to help fuel a cost. There are plenty of things you can do with this. Obviously, Glinthawk was mentioned. Teshar cares about Glinthawk, or it used to. This is another version of that. We specifically care about artifacts with Glinthawk and Teshar. This is covering a wider range of things, and that will suggest it is just better. So go with Nurturing Pixie. Nothing else to say there, unless you guys have thoughts on
it. Somebody brought up Obeka, which I can bring up Obeka really quickly, just because Obeka's not on this list for one major reason, which is there aren't a lot of great upkeep effects for cEDH, at least, and this is a cEDH channel. So Obeka lets you get a whole bunch of upkeep effects. And Obeka with Mana Crypt, funny.
Yeah, no, you don't really want the Mana Crypt, trust me. You don't want the Mana Crypt that many times over. But you're absolutely right? It's kind of goofy with some of the cards that we take for granted, but there are a lot of cool cards like Braids of Fire, or, I don't know, Saran Dynamo, or any sort of upkeep trigger that is going to benefit you in some, form or fashion. This is going to let you benefit off it doubly or triply, I suppose. Because we're in Grixis, the first thing that came to mind as far as value is concerned are the dank confidants of the world. We just got a new Dark Confidant, as a matter of fact, from the set. I forget if it's upkeep related. I think it's attack related.
It's attack.
But you get what I'm saying. Like, there are other things to manipulate here that could net us draw, net us mana, net us some form of value. What I hate about Obeka is that it's Grixis cost, so that is demanding on the player. Yes, I know there are other, people play Atraxa and they make it happen, but she's doing a lot more than Obeka is, and Obeka's slow, right? So at least Atraxa does something on arrival, where Obeka, you're going to need to wait a turn, or use those new spurs, the lava spur boots. That's neither here nor there, though. She's slow. She does nothing on arrival. You're going to need to work around her to be good, but I do like her. I really like her. I want it to be good so bad.
And for Trickster, the entire card list is not spoiled yet. It's being fully spoiled, I think, April 12th, because that's a week before, or that would be pre-release, and they have it done like a week before pre-release, so I guess it'd be April 5th is when it's all going to be out. I'm not entirely sure on that.
Yeah, there are Commander cards that haven't even been touched on yet, so we've got a lot to see.
Yeah, and Abzo brought up the initiative with Obeka, and I'm like, I kind of do like that, because that's actually a really good way of abusing Obeka, because the initiative buffs your creatures, meaning that you get more upkeeps, and you punch harder, meaning that you complete the dungeon really quickly with Obeka. So
Obeka Dungeon Crawler?
Yeah, honestly, that's not a horrible idea. That's pretty good, because it's a really grindy setup that you can do. Man, maybe I should have added Obeka on the list just for the initiative, not gonna lie. Because the best part is, you attack, you connect, you get extra upkeeps gaining the initiative, and then you take 2 upkeeps.
It's not bad.
That's not bad.
Also, the new courts. That's true. She does have access to those 3 of them, minimally.
Yeah.
Archmage's Newt?
Yeah, Archmage's Newt, 1 a blue for a 2/2 Salamander with Salamander Mount. And whenever this deals combat damage to a player, target an instant or sorcery card in your graveyard, it gains flashback until end of the turn. And this flashback is equal to its mana cost, unless this was saddled. Then the flashback is 0.
That's just good all over.
Yeah, this is just a nice card that lets you, on contact, Snapcaster Mage something back from your graveyard, get another tutor, get a little bit of interaction or draw or something. But then, if you tap 3 power on your board, you cast that Peer into the Abyss that got countered for free.
Not bad.
Yeah, good card. Fun card.
You do need to connect. You do need to connect. But
you do need to connect.
Thank God it's not an attack, but look, if you've got a card that lets you commit a crime, say removing an opposing defender, you'll connect.
Killing 2 birds with 1 stone is a crime after all.
But not killing 2 newts.
All right. How do you pronounce this name again, Patrick?
Oh, sorry. There's a child screaming outside, but I thought it was a gleeful scream, so we're good. Ariette,
Yeah,
the Beguiler.
So Ariette is an Esper commander that's with 4 power, 4 toughness, and lifelink, and whenever an aura you control becomes attached to a non-land permanent an opponent controls with mana value less than or equal to the aura's mana value, gain control of that permanent as long as the aura is attached to it. This turns every aura in your deck into steal target permanent. This can get really crazy and out of hand. It can get out of hand because if you have random things that can let you attach to random permanents, you're stealing your opponent's Rhystic Study, you're stealing your opponent's Mana Rocks. You're basically just kind of 2-for-1ing, because if you have any aura that can draw you a card, you steal an opponent's card and draw a card. And then if you give something protection with an aura, you're giving those things protection on your board because you are stealing it. So unlike random other commanders that have done give your opponent's aura effects, this just steals everything.
You know what I like?
You don't care if you buff your opponent's stuff.
So there have been so many cards that have said once per turn at the end of them, but late game, mid to late game, if you're just slinging auras, man, you're gonna you can do this as often as you want. All right, really take the Orcish Bowmaster. Really take the things that are screwing you over, right? Like if it's asymmetrical stacks piece. She can attach her aura to me anytime. Yeah, she's got a real Westworld vibe going on. This whole set, actually. Her art's great, though. Like, really great. I hope that it was authentic. Chris Rallis, I don't think we need to worry. But Esper. I want to do it. I want to make the card. I want to make the deck. This is so freaking cool. Hi, Joshua. In terms of Ariette, the mana value of a player is 0.
Oh, that is true. Sadly, a player is not a permanent. We're only on this world for a certain amount of time. Eventually, we will indeed expire.
Damn. All right, let us know if you guys have an Ariette the Beguiler deck in the works. I'd be very, very curious to see what you have in mind and like what are the top auras that need to go in it, because it's pretty badass. Too bad Smoke Spirit's aid is in red. It attaches to aura all creatures. It attaches auras to all creatures. God. All right, moving on.
Laughing Jasper Flint, I believe, is the next one.
Yeah, we're gonna move along here.
Laughing Jasper Flint is 1 a black and a red for a legendary creature lizard rogue with 4 power and 3 toughness that says creatures you control but don't own are mercenaries in addition to their other types. That's not the part you care about. What you care about is at the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top X cards of target opponent's library, where X is the number of outlaws you control. Until the end of the turn, you may cast spells from among those cards with using mana as though it was mana of any color to cast those spells. So you're playing a Rakdos commander that's drawing at least 1 extra card per turn, potentially a crap ton of extra cards per turn, and you're going through your opponent's deck, so you're probably messing up their combos while also hitting their interaction. I also want to point out that Outlaws, once again, for anybody who weren't paying attention, are give me a second. I'm pulling up the card I used.
Wait. Try to guess. Assassin, rogue, mercenary, soldier.
Not soldier. So it's assassin, rogue, mercenary, pirate, and warlock. I can't remember the last.
Warlock.
Yeah, warlock.
Why is warlock a mercenary?
I'm sorry, Patrick. Freaking stabbing people to steal their blood isn't a crime. You're not an outlaw for murdering people for parts.
I guess so. No, you're right.
But the reason why I think Jasper Flint is really good. What are the best cards in black? All rogues. What are some of the best cards in red? Pirates. And like pirates, rogues, mercenaries.
Yeah, you're kind of just playing them anyway, so it's consequential. And creatures you control but don't own. So I don't know if this means you run claim the firstborn to get mercenaries, but that's a good way to fill out the ranks. But again, that's temporary, so you'll need something that will hold it.
The other thing, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
You get an opponent's creature from their deck and you play it, and then it becomes a mercenary, which is an outlaw. So every creature you hit from your opponents is more cards deeper that you're running into an opponent's deck. So
it's not bad.
Rakdos
really
stacks is really good because this is your draw engine and your win condition.
We need Obeka to give him more upkeep triggers.
I know.
I want all of those. Imagine like exiling 9 cards off the top. Like I'll do 3, do 3, do another 3. Let's see what you got. How many cards did I just whittle off your deck? A lot. It's solid. I like Jasper a lot. I don't know that. I need to see what the list is like because obviously it's odd value. You don't know that what the opponent is using is going to be beneficial to you, but in a proper like cEDH setting, I feel like you're going to find someone who's in black-red and they'll have utilities that you need, or, you know, it doesn't really matter who you're hitting. Like you're going to find something of value.
Remember, he's fixing your colors for the spells that you get.
And that's true. But what you're casting might not be something you actively need, but I think who you target is going to be the important part. It's cool. Yeah. And does this count as a crime, this trigger?
Yep, the trigger is a crime. You are targeting an opponent. And I will say the one thing that makes me a little bit sad about Jasper, you can only cast the spells until the end of the turn.
Yeah.
I would have loved it if you kept him for a rotation.
Yeah. What is that? Who's that 4-cost guy? Rakdos? No, not Rakdos.
Yeah, Rakdos.
Not Rakdos. I'm sorry. The other one. The dude with the New Capenna.
Oh,
what's his name? Sitting in a chair.
Yeah, I know.
He lets you keep it for a rotation. Doesn't
Ob
Ob let you keep it for a rotation?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
It's because he gets the trigger on other people's turns. This is trigger on upkeep.
Yeah, that's fair.
But moving on, we got a Caustic Bronco. 1 and a black for a 2/2 Snake Horse mount. And when Caustic Bronco attacks, reveal the top card of your library and put that card into your hand. Lose life equal to that card's mana value. If this was saddled, your opponents lose life instead.
So, Vampiric Tutor, your opponents.
Yeah, this is Eureka. This is just straight Eureka.
It's not bad.
And the saddle cost is 3 for anybody who cares. So you can... I gotta say, the rules are that you have to saddle this with Dark Confidant, you gotta saddle it with Bob, and then one other thing.
Sorry. Looking at mounts. My favorite thing to do in RPGs. It's not bad.
The next card...
Yeah, we can move on. There's nothing really to say about this. It's good. I don't know how many lists are going to actively want it, but it's another option for you. It's a little bit more demanding, I would say, than a Dark Confidant, right? But it's doing more than a Dark Confidant, right? We kind of compared it to that, but...
Yeah. Well, next, Karavek the Punisher. 1 black for a 3/3 human warlock that says, whenever you commit a crime, exile up to 1 target black card from your graveyard and copy it. You may cast the copy. If you do, you lose 2 life. So, this is basically a slower Yawgmoth's Will that only works in black. Thoughts, Patrick?
I wish you lost life equivalent to its casting cost to cast it or something. Like, I wanted something really broken.
Yeah.
I mean, this is fine, though. You get to... It's any black card from your graveyard, so you're getting a lot of value here. And, you know, you should be... I mean, honestly, committing crimes, this is just a good excuse for people to pile in more removal or just more targeted options. So, I like that it's encouraging that. You just bear in mind, you do need to... you may cast the copy, you still need to pay for its mana cost. That's what I'm saying. So it is a little bit of a hiccup, but I think it's a good value mander, and it's not limited again to once per turn. Like, it's not structured that way. All right, so it's not bad.
And I will say that the 2 reasons that I really like this card. 1, you are not casting the spell from graveyard. You are exiling it and then casting a copy. So it gets around Grafdigger's Cage and things like that, which is pretty nice. But then also, this is Yawgmoth's Will in a Yawgmoth deck. You are easily casting, like, you're getting 20 crimes committed with Yawgmoth because you're just going, Undying, target your thing, Undying, target your thing, Undying, target your thing. Oh, Nest of Scarabs, wipe the entire board. Oh, look, 30 crimes were committed, 30 crime triggers.
There's some shenanigans here.
I love this just because Yawgmoth is the crime father.
So, you gonna do this?
Potentially. I might rebuild a Yawgmoth deck, because I had a weird Yawgmoth deck for a while, but I kind of tore it apart near immediately because Paradox Engine got banned, and that was one of the major cards that made the deck function. Yeah. But I might rebuild it. Who knows? It's potentially worth it.
Did you add Gold Pan? I'm just kidding. We don't need to talk about Gold Pan, don't worry.
Next card is Magebane Lizard. It's 1 in red for a 1/4 lizard. That card's thick. Whenever a player casts a non-creature spell, Magebane Lizard deals damage to that player equal to the number of non-creature spells they've cast this turn. Thoughts, Patrick?
Whenever a player casts a non-creature spell, Magebane Lizard just screws them over? It's a 1/4 for 2. Man, what a good blocker for Timna. That's all I'm really thinking. But then, any sort of storm. Ah, man, that's good, isn't it?
And the best part is we have a card that does something similar with Rug of Smothering, which is 3 generic to play. It has flying and 3 toughness and 1 power, but it makes players lose life. This is damage, which is functional for lifelink and infect if people want to do something weird or dumb.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, this
is also really funny with Curiosity. I'm gonna cast a spell, hurt myself, draw a card, cast a spell, hurt myself, draw a card, cast a spell, hurt myself, draw a card. Okay, I'm gonna pass turn. Oh, you storm off?
Keen Sense? Is Keen Sense combat damage? Yeah, there's a lot you could do. I don't know how much you actually want to pair in tandem with Magebane Lizard. I think just by and by it's a really good stacks piece. And I think people will forget it's equivalent to it's going to scale dramatically as the turn goes on and they're trying to storm. And generally, your storm is not going to be consistent of casting creatures. Usually that's not how you storm. It's usually a flurry of artifacts and or instants and sorceries to build up mana and then artifacts. And then you win off of a creature ultimately, namely Thassa's Oracle. But what I like about this is that they can't just Orcish Bowmaster out and kill it easily. You need to have real proper removal for this guy at 1/4. That's a very high defense stat. So yeah, this is really, really good tech. And it's in red too, which is nice to see for them.
It's also really easy to get this in turn 1. It's 2 mana.
Yeah, it's specifically a generic and a red, so it is very, very easy to splash and very easy to play. Lizard is good in Krakashima. Yeah. Whenever a player casts a non-creature spell, I guess the one thing to note is that it's
Krakashima.
Good is good in Krakashima. Well, what's funny is it's going to screw you over too.
Yeah, you were potentially going to die. But
it's everyone's bane.
Yeah. Moving on to our next card. I think you're forgetting We Are the Mages. That's the lore of Magic the Gathering. It's a whole bunch of mages fighting each other.
Are we wizards or mages?
Are
we wizards or are we mages?
What's the difference? Are we dancers?
What's the difference, Will? Oh my god.
We're mizzards and wages.
Assimilation ages? Is this what you want to talk about?
But yeah, assimilation ages. So this is 1, a white, and a blue for a artifact equipment that when it enters the battlefield, exiles a creature until this leaves the battlefield. Whenever Assimilation Aegis gets attached to a creature, for as long as Assimilation Aegis is attached to that creature becomes a copy of the card exiled by Assimilation Aegis, equipped for 2. This is just a nice card, because you steal an opponent's stacks piece, more or less. This is just a piece of removal that inevitably becomes a theft effect. Also, Abdel. Good card for Abdel.
I like it. It's good tech. I think it's very specific tech, but it's another notable card for the list that want it. Like you're saying, Abdel, namely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
I like it.
There might be another... I don't know if we missed anything. Feel free to let us know, guys, if we've missed anything. We're, of course, over on magicspoiler.com today. Scryfall doesn't always keep up to date with every new spoiler. But if there's anything we missed that you guys want to talk about at the end of the video or by the time we reach the end of this page, let me know.
And one meme card I want to bring up before we get to our next card, because this is along the way. Raven of Fell Omens. Yeah. Stormcrow's back and edgier than ever. It's power crept Stormcrow. It's Stormcrow, but it has once per turn if you commit a crime, drain a life.
How much is Stormcrow? 1 mana?
1 and a blue.
Oh god. So power crept Stormcrow, anyone?
Yeah. I love it. It's just very funny, and also with the whole thing of I'm a Stormcrow, Tanos. I'm a bird of ill omen.
Oh, the raven, and this is a raven of fell omen, bitches. A raven sighted at midnight often means there's unkindness on the way. Unkindness? Alright. Moving on.
There's a whole thing, because I know that there's something with ravens and unkindness, like not like some name, like a flock of what? Yeah, so it's a flock of crows is a murder, but a flock of ravens is an unkindness or something like that. I think that's how it goes. But yeah, so it's still play on words.
I'll take your word on it. I feel like there's one card I wanted to briefly highlight that we missed earlier. The Voracious Varmint. It's another like caustic caterpillar style effect. If you guys don't know,
I did see that. I didn't bring it up because we've gotten better versions in recent history, but it's still a very good card.
It's vigilant. It's vigilant though.
Yeah.
Not that that's relevant, and then you can use your Springleaf Drum afterwards to sacrifice it and kill a thing.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, those are always notable though. Sorry.
Voracious Varmint, 1 and a green for a 2/2 Vigilance Varmint, and you can pay 1, sacrifice this, and then destroy an artifact or enchantment.
But use Haywire Might first.
Yeah.
You want the
but
exile.
For the next card, and this card is probably the best crime card that we are going to have in the set because it feels kind of insane.
Would you say?
Yeah, Forsaken Miner. Forsaken Miner is 1 black for a 2/2 that cannot block. Whenever you commit a crime, you can pay a black to reanimate this. I'd like to point out that there are a ton of different sacrifice effects that target a player or permanent they control. So that means that you can sacrifice this and then immediately revive it for a black. So this is kind of, if you have infinite mana, this can be an infinite mana outlet, but there's also
you mean like a Goblin Bombardment. And because you are, the way it reads with that or a Blasting Station or whatever, you say sacrifice a creature and then put this effect on the stack. Well, you sacrificed it. Did it need to be in the grave for this to be seen, or does it get sacrificed? You commit a crime by putting the thing on the stack. Let's see, because its cost is first. Cost is first, so it's in the grave, and then you target, right, with the effect.
It's simpler. It's simpler than you're thinking. Committing a crime only cares when a spell or ability is put on a stack targeting a player or an opponent or one of their things. So committing a crime doesn't care about the pay cost order, it just cares about when it's put on the stack. Check, there's a crime. So
it's a little bit better than your Gutter Bones, kids. A little bit better than your Gravecrawler.
Yeah, and there's a lot of dumb ways to make this card go infinite, because you can do Piteous Plunderer plus Blasting Station or Goblin Bombardment for infinite damage. You can do the Carnival of Souls to pay a life to deal damage to opponents, or mill them, or whatever your sack effect is.
Right.
Or you can do Phyrexian Altar plus anything that says when a creature you control dies, is sacked, or is brought back from the dead, deal damage, like Mayhem Devil or like Zulaport Cutthroat.
Yeah, your classic aristocrat, like a Blood Artist or anything, will work too. There's a ton of those. Yeah.
Yeah,
he's good.
I can't remember. Zulaport targets, I think Blood Artist is the Mass Drain one. But yeah. Forensic Miner, or Forsaken Miner, dumb card, especially considering the fact that it's just a 1-mana 2/2. Aggro. Let's go.
Blaggro, baby. I do love some Blaggro.
Yeah.
This card's great. I think it's probably going to be a good cube card in the not too distant future too. If you have a cube that relies on.
I also want to point out that this card is probably going to be insane in Modern because it's really good in Rakdos aggro. Because who the crap is going to be able to deal with you constantly bringing back an army of 2/2s?
Obnoxious, dude.
You're bored. I'm going to Lightning Bolt, and with top deck Lightning Bolt, play it. I reanimate all the things.
Dude, it's so good. Yeah, it's funny, because if you have multiples, like, talk about a mana sink. If they're not doing anything to get rid of this from your graveyard, which I feel like is going to have to be a tech card, you're just going to get a 2/2 back every single turn. And it doesn't return, like, tapped either or anything. Like, it's good. If you have things that...
So it doesn't matter if it comes in.
Well, no, if, like, things that... Well, at least for this set, like, if you have things that require you saddle or things that require you tap to activate a thing, he can do that, too. I'm just saying it's added. There's like an added bonus to this. Obviously, not being able to block isn't the end of the world. You probably want to go sideways with it anyways. But yeah, it's really good. This is what I meant by there being a lot of cards. I think a few of these we've listed have been uncommons. Like everything from the set's been pretty banging up to this point. The next card is super sick though. Really, really cool. I think she's on the next page. Shout out to Kumbal, by the way, for making a return. I'm a huge Kumbal fan. So...
But the next card is Smuggler's Surprise, and this is the first Spree card I think I'm bringing up here. Smuggler's Surprise is 1 green mana for an instant with Spree. The Spree costs are 2 mana, mill 4 cards, and you can put up to 2 creature and or land cards from among the milled cards into your hand. Pay 4 and a green, and you may put 2 creature cards from your hand onto the battlefield. Remember, this is an instant. Or you can pay 1, and then creatures you control with power 4 or greater get hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. So a heroic intervention for your big things. That second effect is the main thing that you're going to care about. Theoretically, you can use this to go through your entire deck with the first effect, and the final effect is just nice protection. This does a little bit of everything, but just pay 6 mana, dump 2 combo pieces really early, or at instant speed is kind of nice. I think it's nice for any deck that wants to do either Reanimator stuff or Polymorph stuff.
I like it. It's I don't know. Any 2-card combo. It's like the dream of Defense of the Heart going off and you winning the game. Obviously, it's coming from your hand, so you had to have the 2-card combo in your hand.
Yeah,
that's good. I think the most notable thing is what Will mentioned. It's instant speed. Right.
Yep.
Isochron Scepter is getting better with Spree cards.
Indeed,
Truth.
That's going to be fun. One card that I didn't have on here, but I thought I put it on here, is Fleeting Reflections. This is something I put in the Discord that you thought was kind of cool, Patrick.
This
does
is
a lot of things in one
card,
go.
Right?
Yeah. So it's target creature you control gains hexproof. It becomes untapped, and then until the end of the turn, becomes a copy of up to 1 other target creature. So it's just 1 in a blue, double up on something, and get a hexproof untapped version of that thing. I forgot to include it in here.
That's so much. So yeah, it's protection. It's an untap effect. And then it's up to 1 other target creature, so it doesn't need to become that creature. But what's interesting is that you could obviously copy something with a good, like, activated ability. I'm thinking tap effect here. But if the thing itself is, like, about to get stopped, you could protect it, reactivate it, and have that option again. I know there's a lot going on with this one little card. The becoming a copy of a target thing is that's going to be very dependent on what you're going up against. It might not be useful, but it would be kind of cool to just copy, like, I don't know, the Rule of Law creature that just got murked, right? Like, it's not bad. Like, if it just means shutting off your opponent from winning on that turn, and remember, the thing's got hexproof too, so, like, if they aren't able to do anything then, they likely won't be able to do anything later unless they've got some sort of Classum effect or something. But they already cast their spell to remove the Rule of Law creature, right? So, I don't know. There's a lot going on with this. I think it's an interesting tech card. Again, because it's in blue, I think it just gets outshined by a lot of the typical interaction you see people play, but I think that this is one of the better effects we've seen from blue that isn't a counterspell in a very, very long time. Like, this is a really, really cool card. I can't, and you're speaking of Isochron Scepter. This is cool. This is cool for Isochron Scepter. I don't mind. Give me untap. And again, it really, like, if your commander has a tap effect, even better. This is sweet.
Yeah. And going to our next card.
Sweet in Orvar. Very sweet in Orvar. You're right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But we got the next card, which was a little bit disappointing because I found out there were less cards that did what I thought that this card wants in existence. But Marchesa, Dealer of Death. So, this is a Grixis commander with 3 power and 4 toughness. Whenever you commit a crime, you may pay 1. If you do, look at the top 2 cards of your library, put 1 into your hand and 1 into your graveyard. The reason I thought Marchesa was good was because... the reason I thought Marchesa was very good was because I thought there was a ton of different cards like the Breakfast Hulk combo that could just commit crimes and do more or less nothing. Eater of Dreams seems to be the only card that is an infinite crime committer so far, just by itself. So there isn't a bunch of different options that you have to commit infinite crimes and draw a bunch of cards. However, you can still draw a crap ton of cards with Marchesa, so Marchesa's still on the list.
She's great. A 3 for a 3/4, obviously the colors that are required, again, hamper you a little bit. But like Will was saying, you do need to pay 1 for this. It's just a generic, but you're not only like drawing a card effectively here, but you're also getting to like fuel a reanimate strategy, or just fuel a breach, or fuel anything that really cares about your graveyard as a requirement. Because it needs to be, let's put one of them into your hand and the other into your graveyard. So this isn't letting you, bin something from your hand, sadly. But if what you grabbed was off the top, right, and there's various top deck tutors in this color, you're good. You just put the thing in the bin that you wanted to go there, and it's kind of like, I remember, you used to run like a Cabal Therapy, or you'd use some utilities to ditch cards that were dead in your hand before for reanimate strategies, and this is just a nice way to do that for you, provided you play or plan for it. I think that's probably what you're going to do with this deck. Like, I think you probably want some sort of reanimate strategy because the commander just has that synergy. But otherwise, it's just good value. And it's attached to your commander. So as soon as she's on the field, like, you elect to do a crime. And then if you've got bonus mana sitting around, some card advantage, why not? I like her a lot.
Yeah. She's a generically good commander.
Flusterstorm commits crime for each copy.
That is true. Yes, that is true. Because
so Storm,
it does still put the copy on the stack, yeah.
I feel like if you're storming enough to where Flusterstorm could counter your own spell to let you do this infinitely, I feel like you probably have to counter
you have to counter an opponent's spell to commit a crime.
You know what? Like, I'm trying to think of where you're storming then, where Flusterstorm is like, well, Brain Freeze works, right? Because you could target your opponent's
Brain Freeze, Flusterstorm, Tendrils of Agony, Grape Shot, name a thing. Yeah. Name a thing that has Storm. It will usually target an opponent with very few exceptions.
That's odd, because, like, what are we using her for then? Is what I'm trying to say. Because usually, the Brain Freeze is like a setup for a finisher. And usually the Tendrils is the finisher. Usually the Grape Shot is the finisher. So, I don't know. I like her a lot. I want to say that
the incidental drawing grape setup is just kind of good enough.
Yeah. Well, this next commander, though.
Yeah. This next commander is maybe the best Gruul commander. Definitely fighting for that spot, and it's Roxanne.
Roxanne. You don't need to
turn off that red light. But
it's more of like a purple blue light, but
yeah, I know. You don't need to turn off that meteorite.
Exactly.
So Roxanne
it comes in tapped. Go on.
3 a red and a green for a 4/3 cat druid that whenever Roxanne enters the battlefield or attacks, you create a meteorite. I'm not even going to say it's tapped, or you create a tapped meteorite. Yes, it's a token named meteorite, but there's a literal card called meteorite, so it's that. And it's a ETB, deal 2 damage to any target, and it can tap for 1 mana of any color. Whenever you tap an artifact token for mana, add 1 mana of any type that artifact produced. Treasures are a thing.
Yeah. This card's kind of cracked. She's very costly, mind you. She's a 5 for a 4/3, okay? However, the attack is less relevant to me, but the ETB trigger is super relevant because Gruul, it has food chain. So if you just needed something to kill an opponent, she is your outlet, right? So she functions as an outlet. She functions as really good ramp. She's not only producing, Will mentioned treasures, but the meteorites, when they untap inevitably, are also going to benefit you with your second effect here. She's just good all over. This is so also good. It's not card advantage though, sadly. It is just an outlet attached with really good ramp effect, but we've seen how really good ramp effect with like a Kinnan works. The benefit of Kinnan is that Kinnan drops much sooner than this, so I'm curious to see where Gruul takes it. But I mean, green's the color of ramp, so it's not like it should be that difficult to get Roxanne out. But I love this card. Like, your meteorites will ultimately help you kill some of those more troublesome stacks pieces, or hate bears, I should say, that have 2 defense or lower. And then you could commit crimes to get rid of the rest of them. But she's really good, dude. What are your thoughts on
committing a crime?
It is committing a crime. But what is the strategy here? What is the ultimate play line?
The biggest thing that you didn't bring up that's also really good, because people brought up food chain, you brought up food chain, but there's one line that is better than food chain for Roxanne, and that's Temur Sabertooth Dockside, because those Dockside treasures produce 2 mana thanks to Roxanne. Yeah. So it makes the infinite mana line even easier, because you only need 3 treasures to go infinite instead of 5.
This is no harder to land than Crom, and we see turn 1 Croms very often. That's true. That's true.
I will say, though, Crom is usually paired with black in addition to red and
those
every other color in the book.
They go a long way. We do get both the spirit animals here, the ape and the fairy. So
I thought you were going to say we get both the spirit animals here, the cat and the rooster chicken thing in the background.
Who's not acknowledged in the subtype, by the way. That Chocobo is just there. Okay.
Yeah.
But no, I love Roxanne. I got to say, when this was revealed, I'm always like pulling for Gruul. And cat ladies, by the way. Little known fact you didn't know about me, but I'm excited for this card.
I will say she's a hippie though, so she's not a Leonin. Doesn't have a job.
Yeah. Well, I mean, most druids are layabouts, right? Did not realize treasure taps for 2. Yeah.
It's really good.
Whenever you tap an artifact token for mana, add 1 mana.
You tap and sack those treasures.
Right, so unlike gold, which you just sacrifice, this in fact will net you mana. It's pretty good.
I also want to point out, theoretically, you can just make infinite mana if you can make a token copy of Basalt Monolith. That is very hard to do in Gruul, but you can potentially do that.
I don't even know the cards for that, but there are some play lines you can work into this. Roxanne's got a lot going for her. Again, I'd love to see what you guys have been thinking about for Roxanne. It's one of the decks that I definitely want to build here on the channel, so stay tuned for that. I'm pretty sure it's going to perform well, but I don't know.
It's a hard ramp into creature tutors to try to find the combo.
Right, which, again, there's no inherent card advantage like a lot of our favorite cEDH commanders, so we'll see. Mirage Mirror. Mirage Mirror becomes a copy, though. It's not a token copy.
It's not a token, unfortunately.
Yeah, it needs to be a token, sadly. But the next card we want to talk about, I think the 3 in a row right here. Aven Interrupter.
We're going to have 4 in a row. There's another card after this as well. But Aven Interpreter.
This guy.
Yeah, so this card is...
Interrupter.
Oh, Interrupter? Why did I say Interpreter?
You say tomato.
Yeah, Interrupter. You are 100% correct.
It's okay. What's he interpreting at that speed, at that blinding speed? What is he interpreting?
Aven Interrupter. I don't know why. One
It's
white
okay.
white for a 2/2 flash flying bird rogue. He's an outlaw, folks.
Oh shit! Wait, this adds. Oh, he's
Yeah.
Rakdos. Never mind.
Yeah, I know. But the Aven Interrupter enters the battlefield and exiles target spell, and that spell becomes plotted. And remember, plot says that 1, you can't cast it this turn, and 2, you can only cast the spell at sorcery speed. And then, spells your opponents cast from graveyard or from exile cost 2 more to cast.
Okay, so wait, so stop. Well, okay, let's look at that first trigger. So you force of will. You feel like a fucking Chad. You're like, yeah, that's right. I had it. I'll exile a blue card. I'll lose a life. I'm gonna exile that and make that shit sorcery speed. Enjoy. Because it says exile.
The best part is they force of will. Then you go, Aven Interrupter. Yeah, that was your 1 creature counter spell.
Yeah. Yeah, you just get boned. It's so good. But I mean, like what I'm really driving at there is though, you'll shut off a lot of what did I mention on our Discord? There's a link to the Discord if you guys want to join, so you can chat with us on a number of games. But I think it was there's a white card that's very similar to this that functions the same way, where it taxes the thing and they get to cast it later, but converting the spell into a plot and making it sorcery speed neuters a lot of cards. It's quite good, and it's not limited to what it targets. It's just spell, so you could really just kill anything. I think that at best, though, it will probably hit a piece of removal or a piece of counter interaction. I do think that's probably where it lands. Just be wary of the removal because it will hit you inevitably. But spells your opponents cast from graveyards or from exile cost 2 more. That's just a really good tax on top of a really good ETB. And I'm glad it's a generic and double white because it's not going to be as insanely splashable. But I think for the list that can incorporate it, this Owl is freaking great. This is such a good card. Elite Spellbinder. I don't know about that. Is it the same thing?
Yeah, let me check that. I think Elite Spellbinder is similar.
Caca!
Elite Spellbinder is the creature that enters the battlefield. You look at target opponent's hand and put one of their things into exile. It costs 2 more to cast.
Yeah, that's not that. It's a reality.
You're talking about the counter spell thing, or like the removal thing, right?
I'll just look it up. It's in my Oswald deck. Soul Partition.
Yeah, Soul Partition.
Java, pull up the partition, please. Yeah, it's this card, Soul Partition. Exile target non-land permanent. For as long as that card remains exiled, its owner may play it. A spell cast by an opponent this way costs 2 more. So it's effectively these 2 things, right? It's the tax. It's the tax effect on this. And that's the other thing of note here. Like, you're exiling the thing and then it costs more. That's why I thought of Soul Partition. But it hits more than Soul Partition for 1 more white. And I have a 2/2 body that I could just do shit with later. It's so damn good. And don't discredit the tax. If you think Ward is annoying, think about casting shit from your graveyard or exile, like with Underworld Breach, with a cost of 2 more. You're not going to go anywhere. You're not doing anything.
Also, if an opponent just wants to do any kind of dumb Underworld Breach thing, like you're saying, you can let Underworld Breach resolve. Then when they try to cast anything, you just go Aven Interrupter. Yeah, I'm gonna plot that thing you just cast, and then make your graveyard cost more, and you're gonna have to sack that.
It's just hope they don't have just look at their counter interaction in their grave. You're like, oh, do you have when you LED'd there? Do you have any creature counters? Okay, Aven Interrupter.
Or you do a whole counter war on the stack, and then you just go, yeah, by the way, Aven Interrupter, I don't care what I'm going to plot. I'm going to plot my own counter spell that can double as a removal. I don't know.
Right.
And then, your Underworld Breach resolves. Have fun paying through everything.
I like it a lot. I definitely want a copy, but we could definitely move on now.
I also want to point out any flicker effect with this.
Oh yeah,
broken.
Yeah.
It's just dumb. You just go, plot that.
It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny because, like, yeah. Well, I mean, what are you going to exile necessarily? Like, because if something's trying to remove it, I guess you could exile it off the stack. But more importantly, if it's another game-winning effect, any of your flicker effects. My God.
I also want to point out this does not just plot an opponent's card. If you do a whole counter war, you know that you're not going to have the mana to win the game, even if your big bomb card resolves. You can just go, okay, plot my own card. It's put into exile. I'll cast it for free next turn. This card just has a ton of utility.
Right. Well, not for free. You do need a... Whoa, wait. Never mind. Yep, as it's not your opponent... My God. You're right. So this is a protective spell as well. God damn, it's flexible.
I know. It's so good.
So like, I don't know. I guess I'll... You know what? Forget the ad nauseum. I'm going to plot it. I know it's instant speed, it's sorcery speed now, but like, I don't mind main phase ad nauseam, because the fact is, I guess that was the only other difference with Soul Partition, that the 2 is added to the 0, so it is too generic to do the thing. Will's right. That's just how plot works. But yeah, wow. It's good. Aven plus Drannith.
Someone brought up, Aven plus Drannith is gross.
Stop. Isn't the Aven enough?
Yeah, Aven is just going to be brutal in any Livio deck, though, because you're just going to go, I flicker the Aven, I flicker the Aven, I flicker the Aven, I flicker the Aven.
That's so damn good. You can plot Valky and cast the Planeswalker side.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's a funny thing.
Man, I'm loving this card more and more. But here we're gonna be here all day if we don't move on. I really like Aven Interrupter though. I hope there's alt art and it's goofy. I want an owl in a cowboy hat. Just exiling shit, please.
It's just an owl with a cowboy hat just sitting on a sign or something.
My favorite part about that is Pat realizing Will is right as he reads the card. Yeah, you know what's funny? It went over my head. I don't know why I immediately thought it's because white wants it. It's really hungering for that form of interaction, more ways to combat people on the stack, that I honestly neglected that white's other mainstay is protecting its own shit. And it's like, yeah, we'll do that too. Right. The only issue, like Will was mentioning, is that plotted, it does request, like you were saying earlier, with that other effect we were referencing from the Viking world. I forget. You do need to do it at a separate turn and can't be the same turn. But I mean, if your deck runs freaking like Final Fortune or something, you get your next turn now and cast the thing for 0. It's so good. Oh, it's so good. All right, moving on.
So but moving to the next card. Servant of the Stinger. 1 and a black for a 1/3 human warlock. It's an outlaw, folks, with Death Touch. It's a Timna block or Death Touch, folks. But when Servant of the Stinger deals combat damage to a player, if you committed a crime this turn, you may sacrifice Servant of the Stinger. If you do, search your library for a card, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. Okay.
It's a 1/3 Death Touch. Good. It's really good. That's really good. Again, we always look for those Timna blockers. But I also want to point out that this is just another uncommon that's pure gas. Again, not every card is going to want and or appreciate this, but like, this feels like a really good investment. Does it feel like a good investment to you? I mean, like, it does have a little bit of a hiccup with the fact that you do need to commit a crime for this to go off, but I think that's reasonable for just a delayed demonic tutor.
Yeah, it needs to, a crime needs to be committed and you need to connect. But to be fair, in cEDH, if you commit a crime, it's usually you killed their creature, and then this gets in because you killed their only creature. So it's very likely going to tutor the turn after it comes out. And the very dumb thing is, this is a creature that costs 2 or less. You can reanimate this over and over and over and over and over again with stuff like Luris, so that you are tutoring every single turn for the rest of the game. And if you don't have Luris as your companion, and he's in your deck, this tutors Luris.
Yeah. Actually.
Servant of the Stinger is just a very, very fun card and can do some really dumb crap. I love it.
Is Luris the Stinger in this instance?
I don't know. And flavor win if you play this in your Scorpion God deck. Yes, Scorpion God does commit crimes.
God. And also very cool art. It's just so goofy looking.
Yeah, it's dude with creature arms, like hanging out with his holographic Scorpion guys dancing in front of him.
Yeah, it's so trippy. Oh God, and the art next to it is also so damn good. Archangel of Tides. We're not talking about any of those cards. So again, if there are any cards we missed, please let us know. But we're gonna be moving down to another freaking amazing card. I'll read this one off because this shit got
you
me.
mentioned
This shit got me super hyped. God damn. All right, well, you gotta be in Boros, everyone's favorite colors in Commander. But hear me out. It's a generic and a white for a rule of law. So better rule of law. Each player can't cast more than one spell each turn. Cool. And then very much on flavor. It was at high noon, right? That's when the showdown happens. Freaking pay 4 in a red, sacrifice high noon. It deals 5 damage to any target. So here's what I'm gonna say about this. This is such a cool outlet / rule of law effect. So it doesn't get exiled after you do this. It will wind up in your graveyard. So how many cards do you need exile after an Underworld Breach infinite mana line to just use this as an outlet? Like, just cast this, sack it, cast this, sack it. I mean, depending on where life totals are at, this is a potential kill effect. But for the most part, 5 damage is going to nuke any troublesome creature outside of a Tivit, you know? But it's like, you're not going to want to pay that in addition to this. It's a really good rule of law. This is maybe the best rule of law?
Yeah,
maybe the best rule of law.
I think Archon is probably better than this just because it's not color specific, it's a good flying body, and it hits non-basic lands. I think Archon of Mary is still the best rule of law that's been printed.
Yeah.
But High Noon is really good because, as you said, it's loopable. But the one reason I like it, and the one deck I think is going to play it a lot, is you have a Thrasios Bruce. I don't even know what people call that deck anymore. It's had so many different names. But Thrasios Bruce is a decent stacks deck that grinds value with Thrasios to win the game. If you make infinite mana with Thrasios, and then you have like Turn the Earth, Noxious Survival, something like that, you can keep looping High Noon back into your deck infinite times, and you just kill everybody. So
it's so funny. Oh, sorry.
This is just another good card to run in that deck, and then it gives you an infinite outlet.
Yeah, the dual nature of it is really what gets me. Like the fact that it's
the dual nature of it.
Yeah, exactly. It's literally the flavor of this card is so good. It's definitely the flavor win for the set for me. The art is very emblematic of what's happening. It's just so good. I didn't know I wanted like a Wild West themed Magic set until this. I grew up watching a lot of like old Clint Eastwood films, so I appreciate High Noon in many ways, but damn, that's a good card. It's really good. Again, we've gotten so many bangers, and we're really not done whatsoever yet, but this is very high up on the list for me. And yeah, Azurta would probably want this. I could agree with that.
And going to the next card, and I'm going to have to add one card in here because I forgot to include this card in the list. Bovine Intervention. Which, first off, I love the name of that card. It's Bovine Intervention. It's 1 in a white for an instant. Destroy target artifact or creature. Its controller gets a 2/2 Ox token. It's a braid, but in white.
Oh, did I miss it, or is it ahead of me?
It's right after High Noon, like a line down or 2
or 3. Holy cow!
I mean, yeah.
Oh no, I missed it. Okay, yeah, it's right there. A Brade, but in white. Thank freaking God.
Yeah. It's a nice card. I don't think it's going to be a staple, but I think it's going to be playable. But yeah, a Bovine Intervention, holy cow. Someone said Beef Within. There's a lot of good lines with this card. I love it.
Whose legs are those on High Noon? That is such a good question. I don't know. There's a lot of buckles, though.
They're Lazovs.
Extra points. Yeah, extra points to you if you can find out whose legs those are. But yeah, Bovine Intervention's fantastic. Thank you for pointing it out. It's just another piece of removal you can add to the list. Your repertoire.
I skimmed past that because I saw the Lazov, and I'm like, Lazov probably doesn't go on the list, and then I completely missed the card next to him. But going to a card that you said that you liked when you saw this card, Patrick, we got Satoru, Satoru the Infiltrator. 1 blue, 1 black for a 2/3 human ninja rogue. It's an outlaw. It's a rogue with menace. Whenever this and or one or more other non-token creatures enter the battlefield under your control if none of them were cast from your hand or no mana was spent to cast them. Draw a card. That is a whole lot of crap to say that if a creature card entered your battlefield and you didn't pay for it or you didn't cast it, draw a card.
Yeah. It feels like a lot of hoops.
Yeah, if this enters your battlefield, if Satoru enters your battlefield, you draw a card even if you paid for it.
Well, okay. This is the coolest Satoru's ever looked. Let me just say that. Satoru looks freaking awesome here.
Most cEDH viable Satoru's also ever looked.
Yeah. Well, so it's just Dimir. Man, if ever you wanted a character to be in Grixis, for all the freaking what are they called? The zero cost kobolds, dude. And why that is important is because Cloudstone Curio exists. So just go ham, just draw your deck.
That's the worst part. In Dimir, there is one creature that you can play infinitely without having to pay any mana that is not an artifact, which is Deepwood Legate.
Right. But he's very quirky.
That just barely gets there. So if an opponent controls a forest, you can cast Deepwood Legate for free. That's the long and short of it. So if you have what is it called? You just said it, Cloudstone Curio. If you have Cloudstone Curio and Deepwood Legate, and any way to keep bouncing Deepwood Legate over and over and over again with that, you win. Or you draw your deck. Like, you can do the, what's the guy? The mana guy that when he enters makes 3 black mana.
Oh, you're talking about the Priest of... Yeah. Not Ouroboros, Priest of Gix.
So if you have Priest of Gix, Deepwood Legate, and Cloudstone Curio, you just keep going boom, 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 draw every single time you cast the Deepwood Legate, draw your deck. That's an option. You also have, I think, Morbid is the name of the enchantment. It says whenever a creature you control dies, you may put it on top of your library. So if you have a Walking Ballista and then a Blood Artist, you cast Ballista for 0, it dies, goes on top of your library, and then you draw a card. Do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again. Sure. Infinite death triggers win with Blood Artist. There's a lot of small things you can do with Infuriator.
Oh, sorry.
Yuriko says hi, indeed. There's a lot of things that you can do with Satoru to draw a crap ton of cards, and there's a lot of weird combos. Also, the alternate art of this is kind of interesting.
Is there an alt art?
Yeah, click on it and you can see the alt art. It's just underneath it.
Wait, sword. Imagine a sword back here.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know how I feel about the font. I don't know how I feel about the font in the text box. It doesn't jive with me. But that's it. Like the spacing between the slash and the or is a little much for me. I think that spacing is just a little too long, and I don't like the W. Like the W, in a traditional Magic card's got that cross. It just looks nice. That's a weird thing. That's the only thing I don't like. But everything else I like of these wanted poster arts. By the way, I just want to say, One Piece did it first. Love you, Watsy. I do love you, though. But yeah, the wanted posters were something that people were hyped about with set 3, 4? I forget. It was set 4. No, it's set. I don't remember. It's a set with Iceberg. Guys, my wife would really like to watch RuPaul's Drag Race on MTV. So I'm gonna need to pause the TV so she can watch that. This is a tradition every Friday. But we've covered Satoru. I really do want to make this deck. I don't think that the Priest... I really want Cloudstone Curio to be playable. Like, I really want to play Cloudstone Curio, dude. I've held on to a Masterpiece Cloudstone Curio for so long because I just want a deck to play it. But I don't think this is the deck. But here's the thing, like, is it bad to... If you just make infinite mana, doesn't he just win with, like, any creature in him? Like, it's not bad, right? What if someone plays a Lurin for you? Can't you just cast your creatures infinitely?
That is true. If someone casts an Allurin, you win the game. If only you could cast the Allurin instead.
Just a clone. Can you call RuPaul and get a time change for fuck's sake?
I'll say, if you cast an Omniscience, you draw most of your deck.
That's fact, actually, yeah. Well, it depends on...
Is there an Omniscience for low CMC cards?
I want to get to the bottom of this because I really do want to make that Sachiro hyper playable. Will, if you don't mind going over our next card, we've got a handful of cards left, guys, so thanks for hanging tight with us. Feel free to leave this video a like, make sure to subscribe, and tell your friends about it. Pew, 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 singles off a TCG player. Get those in your pocket for later.
But yeah, if you want to go to the drag race while I cover this, go ahead. You can pause it for.
Obviously. I'm going to put this on the screen now, so you guys can see it.
Yeah. But Key to the Vaults is the next card. 1 and a blue for legendary artifact equipment that says, whenever the creature deals combat damage to a player, look at that many cards from the top of your library. You may exile a non-land card from among those cards. Put the rest on the bottom of the put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order, and you may cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost. Without paying its mana cost. Holy crap, I'm tripping over my words right now. Equip cost for 2 and a blue. Pretty good card. Long and short, the Key to the Vault is a way that lets you cheat out any card from the top of your deck. If you have a top deck tutor, this card is insane. Play that Razaketh, play Omniscience, play something massive. It's an equipment, it's an artifact, so it's easier to tutor in certain colors. White can find it pretty easily, blue can find it pretty easily. It's just a very useful card, you just need to connect. And if you're playing something like Dargo, looking at the top 7 is pretty good. And we can wait for Patrick to come back, and I'm going to look to see if there's anything for Satoru to cheese him and make him better.
Alright, I'm back. That always takes something up. YouTube TV always takes its sweet ass time. I got nothing for Key to the Vault. I don't like blue equipments. Sorry.
But you can search in white. It's good in Azorius. You can play that Shorkai deck.
Only in green. Only in green.
There's a Lurin.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, I was just lying. I just want... if you know, someone plays, like, what, Animar or something, then bring out your Satro list. You should have a good time. Let me do this really quick. Final Showdown, I believe, is our next card.
Yeah, if you want to cover this, you can, because I know that you kind of probably want to buy a copy of this for Oswald.
Oh, by the way, another great piece of art. I don't know how to pronounce this person's name. Loic Hedavagia. Please don't tell me that this was spliced from 12 different images, but I'd say Rattleback Apothecary is my favorite art from the set. It looks so fucking good. If this was an animation, I would want to watch this show, like whatever this sort of Rosca lookalike is in. It's 100% down. I wish the card was a little bit more playable for us. But damn, dude. If you haven't seen the art for this one, it's really, really good. Alright, that's my favorite art from the set, though. I mean, I know it's not too relevant for you guys, but whatever. I'll talk about it anyways. Final Showdown. It's right over here. We're to skip that Crom because it's not worth playing over the other Crom. Spree. For a white plus a generic, all creatures lose all abilities until end of turn. Okay, so it's important to note that the creatures need to be there to lose their abilities, so you can't use this like a dress down, right? However, you also have the ability to go +1, choose a creature you control. It gains indestructible until end of turn. This is actually really relevant for Oswald players. You'll know that getting your shit destroyed off of I don't know, what's that one Golgari spell that destroys everything 2 CMC and under? Obnoxious. Spare one of your most important things with this Final Showdown. And then also at instant speed, why the hell not for 6 mana destroy all creatures? I really like it. At a certain point, like as an Oswald player, like if you've got the line going, you don't give a shit about your creatures. Destroy all the creatures. Get your scrap trawler out first. pull your value piece back after, but destroy all the creatures and just eliminate any sort of stacks or hate bear. Anything that's going to stop you from going for a win, this is going to help you get there if it's creature based, like Will was saying with Archon of Emeria. Best rule of law? Not anymore. Yeah. Dope card. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
It's a mythic from the set. Seems warranted.
Yeah. I mean, it's an instant speed board wipe for everything except your stuff. You pay a little bit more. It also is an anti-Oracle card, potentially. I am not 100% sure if it only affects creatures currently on board, or if it's just a static effect for the turn for all creatures. I'll look into that. But I wanted to go back to Satoru for a second, because I completely forgot one thing you can do with it. That is,
I don't think it's a static effect. Sorry, I don't think it is. But if you guys want to confirm or deny, but sorry, well, we can go back to Satoru really quick though.
I forgot to say the most probably common way people are going to use Satoru, and the way that Satoru is actually probably going to be viable: flicker effects.
Yeah.
So if you have Displacer Kitten, you can storm off. If you have Deadeye Navigator, even if you just go mana neutral with the Deadeye Navigator effect, you draw your deck.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably going to be the best use for Satoru. You use the creatures that make mana when they enter, and then you flicker them with Displacer Kitten or Deadeye to go through everything.
Yeah, Satoru is sick as shit. That's so true. I mean, I'm more into Cloudstone Curio these days, but Displacer Kitten's just
you still run Curio. You still run Curio.
Would you though?
Yeah.
All right.
The next card is is one that I completely overlooked at first. I looked at it a second time and I went, "Holy crap! This card is insane." Free Strider Lookout.
I'm sorry. I just want to showcase this new Torpor art before I get.
Oh
to,
yeah,
go ahead. I just didn't want to pass this.
We got the two Torpor arts, and both of them look sick.
I want to say that the one with the gray backing looks. I just like the composition a little bit more, because I think this is like after Critical Mass, but I feel like this one is Critical Mass. Like this is when it's waiting for the creature to hit the battlefield. The alt art here. I can't back out anymore. Sorry guys. But this art's God. Torpor is one of my favorite cards. Fuck you, Thassa's Oracle. So I play it all the time. And Dockside, you too. I'm looking for you. So this is like when it's in waiting, and this is when the shit hits the fan. You're like, oh, that Dockside, cataclysmic event. Again, this is my second favorite art. For an artifact, this is my favorite art. Favorite creature art was the other one. Yeah. And I'm glad you also appreciate the art, Trickster. It is honestly relevant to me. It's one of the reasons I care about this game. Free Starter Lookout, though. Sorry.
Yeah, Free Strider Lookout. This card is really good. 2 and a green for a 3/3 human rogue. It's an outlaw with reach. Whenever you commit a crime, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a land card from among them onto the battlefield tapped. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. This ability triggers only once each turn. Okay, it may sound like it's bad because it only triggers once each turn, but you've got to remember, a third of your deck is lands and cEDH. You are almost guaranteed to hit a land on each crime activation or trigger, whatever. Yeah, each crime trigger. It is really easy to target opponents' things on other players' turns with activated abilities or triggered abilities. You can get 4 lands into play every single turn with this card. That's a lot of ramp.
Sorry. I was asked if I would Torpor Orb over Doorkeeper Thrall. Fortunately, the deck that I pilot regularly, Oswald, he could find Torpor Orb at a moment's notice, so that is relevant for me, but I do think Doorkeeper Thrall is a better card. Yeah, the once per turn isn't such a huge issue. I think it's just having the cards to commit the crime with is going to be the larger one, but top 5 dig is deep. Like Will was saying, I don't know statistically what your probability is, but it's high. I have a gut feeling you're gonna hit. You're gonna hit it. You're gonna hit the land. Again, it is putting it into play tapped. It's a May. You don't necessarily have to do this. I don't know why you'd avoid it, but yeah, it's solid. It's a 3 for 3/3. It's also easily turn oneable off of the mana crypt. So again, like if you're trying to get out your Roxanne, maybe this is how you do it. And also, but mind you, Roxanne will ultimately allow you to do the crime committal. So
yeah, And
yeah. So
if you have a commander with any target effect, you probably run this.
That's what I was going to say next. Like, so, you know, I was highlighting Roxanne there, but like anything that lets you commit a crime at will, because later on she'll attack and let you commit the crime, and you get the
why are you committing a crime against me?
Sorry, it's just this is how the game works these days.
How it goes people are days. Firing at me. People are committing crimes against me. It happens.
A good card though, Free Strider Lookout.
Yeah,
all for you. We did Marchesa, right? Yes, we did.
Yes, we did. It was out of order because I put it in the wrong location. But next we have Rakdos, the Muscle.
I'm just kidding. You don't want to talk about Jace.
No, sad. So I'll quickly cover Jace. Jace reawakened blue for a 3 loyalty Jace Planeswalker that says you cannot cast this during your first turn, your second turn, or your third turn of the game. +1, draw a card, discard a card. +1, you can plot a card that costs 3 or less from your hand. -6, bonus round. I thought this card was really good, and then I reread plot and remembered that you can only cast the card at sorcery speed. So I was like, oh, you can keep plotting all of those removal spells you're top decking and cast them for free on your opponent's turn at instant speed. No, you cannot. Yeah, it went from a really good card in my eyes to a really crappy card in my eyes.
Yeah, Jace is sad. I'm not gonna lie though, this is one of the cooler arts from the set too.
Yeah.
So damn good. Chris Rallis, just again, the bangers. Yeah, it kind of upsetting. I don't know story-wise, if you guys know what's up between the Ashiok Jace business. Love to know. It looks sick as hell though.
Getting to a pretty good card though. We got Rakdos the Muscle.
A really good card. And it's funny, you were mentioning how, did we just get a playable Rakdos?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Rakdos is a 2 black red 6/5 demon mercenary. It's an outlaw.
Yeah.
Flying and trample. Whenever you sacrifice another creature you control, exile cards from the top, or exile cards equal to the mana value of that card from target player's library. So you can target yourself, you can target an opponent and commit a crime. You have utility there. Until your next end step, you may play those cards and in mana of any type can be used to cast those spells. You also can sacrifice another creature you control to give this indestructible and tap it, activate only once each turn. So you can do this on every player's turn, letting you sacrifice 4 things a rotation just by itself. If you have any other sac effect, you can do a lot of other things. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just make the thing to sacrifice every single turn. Like what I mean, and mind you, you're only exiling off of its mana value, so like you're not gonna get shit with 0. But if you have a recurable body, I guess you're the new one, the one that's 1 black to recur for committing a crime, I guess.
If you have anything that just lets you slowly kind of dig through people's libraries, anything that's a recursive loop for sacrificing, or anything that's just a body that you can keep reusing over and over and over again. I know there's some like weirdly high CMC creatures with a weirdly low reanimate cost. But yeah, Rakdos can kind of shred people's libraries, and then you can keep up interaction on people's turns just by going, oh, you're trying to combo off? Hey, do you have a top deck tutor? You do? Okay, can you put Fierce Guardianship on top? Cool, I'm going to sacrifice my Viserys Seer. Oh, look, Fierce Guardianship, fuck you.
You know, I actually really like this with your hijack effects, right? So like claim the Firstborn to take a Tymna, attack, get some draw, sack the Tymna. I mean, the tap it has already happened. You're done with that. It's really good. You can really brutalize boards, right? So because it has sacrifice another creature, it's kind of like removal when you have hijack effects, and I just mean things that let you gain control temporarily. I don't know. I probably use a few hijack effects in this list.
Yeah, and also,
I mean, shit. Imagine like nuking their Crom and then like exiling shit from them too. It just feels bad.
I want to point out, if this is on board, all top deck tutors are useless. Oh, you top deck tutored? Cool. Before you draw, give me the card.
Yeah, you do need the body, mind you, and it needs to be another body. Obviously, I mean, the effect wouldn't really resolve elsewise, but I don't know. It's good. It's a really weird value piece because it's contingent on mana value. You do need to think about what you're sacrificing. So maybe there's some recursion creatures in the list, like I don't know, like reassembling skeletons, or what do we have? You know, like you may cast this from your graveyard, or activated abilities let you, return graveyard battlefield. I'm just gonna do a quick search. We can move on to the next one though, and I'll list off any good ones.
Yeah. Also, if you have any low CMC reanimate effects in your deck, you can just keep going through your deck and draw through your deck in one turn pretty quickly just by reanimating, let's say, Draco 5-6 times.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of like a mini Yargle Multani in the command zone. But yeah, the next card that I wanted to bring up is Kellen the Kid. We got Kellen again, and without an adventure this time. Kellen is
talk
green.
about Forsaken Miner. I'm sorry. He's Mateus was saying it's good with Forsaken Miner. That's
yeah.
True.
Yeah. Forsaken Miners are insane. There's very few things that Forsaken Miner isn't good with.
Yeah, there's very few things in the set that aren't cracked. But Kellen the Kid, sorry about that.
But Kellen the Kid, 1 green, 1 white, 1 blue for a 3/3 human fairy rogue. It's a murder. It's an outlaw. Flying and lifelink. So really good body, really good keywords. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, you may cast a permanent spell with equal or lesser mana value from your hand without paying its mana cost. If you don't, you may put a land from your hand onto the battlefield. So, Kellen the Kid is just really good at ramping really quickly. Even if you aren't doing paradox, let's be honest, this is a paradox effect. Even if you aren't using paradox effects constantly, getting a couple lands here and there is really nice. Doubling up on mana effects to feeding creatures is pretty nice too, because casting a 3-drop from exile and casting an Archon or something is very useful. But yeah, this is just a good Bant commander that can fill up your board, empty out your hand pretty quickly, and if you have any kind of draw, you just keep going and accrue value.
I guess you Ubamask makes it so you draw into exile, right?
Yeah.
All right. I'm trying to think of all the synergies that sort of work naturally here. Ubamask is a little costly. I don't know if that's really the best option.
Ubamask also kind of shuts off Kellen to some extent because you need to cast the permanents from hand.
Other than, it says whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand. So I guess you're just going to be relying on what's in your hand to begin with.
Yeah.
It's a little rough.
You have to do like a half and half. It's probably better to use flashback effects or effects that cast from exile, something like that. But Kellen's interesting. I don't think Kellen is insane, but by the fact that you can ramp a couple lands per turn, it's a nice.
It's a nice. It's a good. I like it.
Yeah. Kellen the Kid would be insane if it was in red, Mateus. Yeah, I'm just gonna impulse draw a bunch, cast those things, ramp to keep going and keep going and keep going.
Are we well, what colors has he been in before? He's been in exactly these colors, right?
He has been in green, he's been in blue, he's been in white, and he's been in red.
He has been in red. Okay, so there was an excuse for it. But no.
Yeah, but they didn't go for it.
But no.
Also, I realized that the MTG spoilers doesn't have everything from Outlaws of Thunder Junction, because I remember some of the earlier cards that got spoiled that aren't here, but we can talk about those after going through the stuff already on the list.
That's fair.
But Annie Flash. That is the next one. So Annie Flash is 6 mana in total, 3 red, green, and white for a human rogue. Outlaw. 4 power and 5 toughness with Flash. When Annie enters the battlefield, if it was cast, return target permanent card from the graveyard, or return target permanent card with mana value 3 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Whenever Annie becomes tapped, you may exile the top 2 cards from your library, and you may play those cards this turn. So, the reason why Annie's on this list, aside from the fact that it's just a flash commander that draws you 2 cards every single turn and could potentially draw more if you have tap-untap shenanigans, kind of like Yes Man, but to a worse extent. You can use this to reanimate a Underworld Breach from your graveyard after milling everything with Hermit Druid. There is a very clean-ish line here, because You put everything into the grave, get back Underworld Breach tapped, and then you just cast LED a bunch of times and win the game. It's a hefty cost, but you're in red and green, so 7 mana win the game is not horribly bad. But
Yeah.
there's some build around. There's like a little bit of build around that you need to do for it, but aside from the fact that it's a card that lets you keep up your interaction and then go for draw if you don't hit your combo, that's pretty nice. You can sacrifice this and replay this at any time to get the reanimate effect, which is also pretty nice. And yes, you can hit lands, so you can get your fetch land back randomly from that ETB. It's a good card.
Huh. Food chain, then crew, saddle her to tap her.
And
I would agree with Mateus. I do think it's a little
yeah.
overcosted for the effect, because it is it's not. Here's the fact of the matter, right? So I think they're thinking conceptually that you're paying 6 for this, but you're getting 9 mana's worth of value, so it's like a discount, right? Like you're getting potentially up to 3 CMC worth of thing from your graveyard, so that sort of makes up the 3 generic and her cost. And then on the upside of this is that you could do this at any time, and it's a 4 for 5, which isn't really a good rate, I don't think, for 6, but with all of the added effects, I can kind of understand it. You flash her off turn, and then you get to do the things where you're tapping her. Yeah. It's not horrible. I like the card design. I think it's a reasonable cost. But as a cEDH player, obviously we want these things to be as lithe as possible. We'd like to be able to do this more efficiently, but
yeah,
I'll say it's fair the way it is.
It's instant speed interaction in the command zone that can draw you a good handful of cards whenever you need to. But it's 6 mana does hurt. I think that Flash helps with this 6 mana, and the versatility on the card does kind of make up for it. I legitimately compare this card to Tivit, but my thing is that the colors are not the best colors. Tivit's partially really good because he's in the best colors, and he's also a self-protecting card that can grind out value. This card doesn't care if it lives. It gives you a way to reanimate your stacks pieces to prevent people from winning. You can reanimate that Doorkeeper Thrall to stop Thoracle in response to Thoracle. You have some versatility on this card. It will net you cards in a bad situation, and it has a 1-card win con with another card. It's very similar to Tivit, but the fact that it doesn't actually protect itself is a bit of a problem. The high cost is also a bit of a problem because you're not in the best colors to get to that high cost really easily. And you need to be in a very specific situation to make this a 1-card combo with something else. This has to be in the command zone. So, yeah, it's an interesting card. It has potential. I think that this is either going to be a very good commander or probably unplayable. I don't think that there's going to be a ton of in between, but some people will still play this no matter what.
It's a cool stacks commander, though. And I think, maybe the food chain comments are right. I think that, this is a cool way to recur something from your graveyard multiple times. Right? If it's a self-sacrificing thing or something that's food chainable, right, then you can win the game with it. It's really not bad. Nah, I like it. I mean, if you're in food chain, you probably have Underworld Breach. There are combos here, but I struggle to see why you would use this over something else that's existing. But we can move on to the Great Train Heist.
The Great Train Heist is 1 red, and it has Spree for instant that says, pay 2 in a red, untap all creatures you control. If it's your combat phase, there's an additional combat phase after this phase. Pay 2 generic. Creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain first strike until end of turn. Or pay 1 red. Choose target opponent. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to that player, create a tap treasure token. Or whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to that player this turn, create a tap treasure token. If it didn't say tapped, that last effect would make this an Agila card.
Yeah. Yeah, right. So you get the infinite combats that way, but you can still get infinite combats if this is on an Isochron Scepter and you have a creature that's producing 4 mana.
It's
on combat.
Yeah, it is.
Rada. How much does Rada make?
Not enough. You don't need 4 mana off 1 creature. You need 4. Actually, no, sorry. This does not untap Isochron. Never mind. That's It's not infinite.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, one of your creatures would need to untap the Isochron.
Yeah. There's extra hoops, but it's another extra combat card that does a decent deal of other things. Ignore the middle line. People are very rarely going to use that middle line. It might be used as a combat trick, but the first line and the third line are the main reasons why this card is playable, because it is in fact a ritual.
Yeah.
I'd use
cheap
it in Zada.
ritual. Cheap ritual. Yeah. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage. Yeah. Right. So you just storm as much as you can before combat. Do this. Zada it up. Make some tap treasures. It's not bad. The tapped aspect is obviously bad, but it's not bad. At that cost, it makes sense.
You know what's better than not bad is in fact really, really good? The Gitrog. Ravenous Ride.
Gitrog. Yeah.
So
the cutest form of Gitrog so far, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know why, but he just gets cuter and cuter. Like they make him like smooth and less buggy-eyed. Like take away the giant sharp teeth here and add an uwu smile, and he's the cutest frog of them all. But yeah, the Gitrog is 3 black-green for a 6 power, 5 toughness creature. Frog Horror Mount. I don't know what's best. A mutant. My eyes are killing me today.
Not an outlaw.
Yeah, not an outlaw. Eats outlaws, but not an outlaw. Trample Haste with Saddle 1. Whenever Gitrog deals combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice a creature that's saddled it this turn. If you do, draw X cards and put X land cards from your hand onto the battlefield tapped, where X is the sacrificed creature's power. Yargle Multani is a thing. This now goes into Yargle and Multani. Even if you're not playing Yargle Multani, this as its own commander is amazing. Because you just draw a handful of cards and ramp by like 5-6 lands.
It's a lot of gas.
Yeah.
This is a good card.
Yeah, this card is insane if you have any way to buff your things, or if you just run big creatures. You can kind of do Selvala things, but a little bit slower and a little bit grindier. Good card.
Yeah, the saddle cost of 1 is great. So basically, no matter what you have out there, it could be a dork. You're gonna get the effect as soon as you want. It is combat contingent, but you could do this instantaneously, and it is based off of damage, but it has trample. Everything that feels like a hiccup isn't a hiccup. It is the same cost as the original Gitrog, if I'm not mistaken, at 5. But I think this... it's untested, but in my mind, I think that this is just a better value engine. It is requiring a different strategy, but its strategy it's not difficult. You just need a board of creatures. It's not bad, and green wants to do that anyways. I like it. I'd love to see people with Gitrog builds. There hasn't been a Gitrog that's like really atrocious. Like I like Thalia Gitrog. I like the OG Gitrog. I like this Gitrog a lot. Gitrog Casual All-Star is cool. I could see this doing really well though. Genuinely, I could see this doing very well in a cEDH setting. If you dart this out early, like that kind of ramp is really powerful. Mind you, it's tapped, but you'll get there. And it's based off power, so like if you just buff the thing too, I don't know if you really do like a Selvala Storm thing here, but it's not like you get additional combats in Golgari. But if you were to like buff something and make it a 12/12, it's pretty solid.
Yeah.
Anyway,
this card does a lot of crazy stuff, and at the very minimum, this Gitrog is going in Yargle Multani, because drawing 18 cards and playing 18 lands is not something to joke about.
No. And Yargle and Multani might go in this? Or is that a lie?
Probably. Honestly, yeah. 6 mana, do the dumb thing.
Speaking of Selvala, though.
Yeah, we got another Selvala, and it's Selvala Eager Trailblazer. For 2 green-white, it is a 4 power, 5 toughness elf scout, not an outlaw, with vigilance. And whenever you cast a creature spell, you make a 1/1 red mercenary creature token with tap. Target creature you control gains 1 power until end of turn, activate only as a sorcery. And You can tap, choose a color, and add 1 mana of that color for each different power among creatures you control.
Savala's
It's
never
Selvala,
not
but
in that
also
hat.
in white.
She's never too far from that hat of hers.
Indeed.
Choose a color, add 1 mana of that color for each different power among creatures you control. Each different?
Yeah. So someone brought this up of what's the magic number for Selvala things, and it's either 4 or 5 depending on what you hit. So let's say 5. How hard is it to get to 5 power with this? And that would mean that you'd need a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and then either 5 or 0. Honestly, that's not that hard, considering that Selvala is a 4. It makes you a 1. The other ones buff your 2s to 3s. So if you have a 2, 2 of the ones, you get a 3, and then you just need either a 0 or 5. Meaning that the only real build around that you need for this card is either play 0 power creatures or play self-buffing creatures.
Yeah. I think the mono I think the mono green Savala's main benefit is that she's also like an outlet with the draw aspect.
Yeah,
but
that's the main difference because you can go through your entire deck with that Savala's effect. With this, the fact that you can, to be fair with this, the other benefit that you get is you give your creatures infinite attack and infinite attack just by mercenaries doing their thing infinitely. So you have a kill con with that.
That's true.
I think that this Selvala is a slower version of OG Selvala, but also like a more consistent version because OG Selvala was very dependent on what you drew, what your hands were. Because you have another color in this Selvala, you don't really care about what you draw as much.
I don't know how much redundancy this adds or like tutors it adds that are relevant, but if you're relying on a creature-based combo, God, if those mercenaries entered with haste,
they'd be dumb.
Oh, then it would be like hyper. It would be better. I'm gonna say hyper playable. It would be better though, because you kind of want to start getting the ball rolling immediately. And she's 4. It's tough. I feel like it's tough.
You probably want to find Umbral Mantle, and white can find that pretty easily with equipment tutors. That's the main thing that white will add to this combo.
Yeah, and, that's true. Like Steel Shaper's Gift or right. There's a couple of things that you add to the repertoire that do help. Like Umbral Mantle's equipment, you could use Open the Armory or moving us around. All right, booties.
They weirdly enough are no longer on the page because it got moved to page 3, and page 3 doesn't exist yet.
Oh my god! Oh, does that mean we have new cards?
Yeah, we got 2 new cards, and they were not notable. I looked them over while we were discussing other cards.
Where? Oh, here's what I'm gonna do, guys. We're gonna go over to some of the commander cards.
Yeah.
Can I just Lava Spur Boots. Let me just tell you what these cards do. They're not on here anymore.
We'll go over the cards that we can't see after doing the commander stuff because we're gonna be talking about Lava Spur Boots. It's a good card.
It's really good. I'll pull it up separately for you guys. But what do you want to talk about, Will, of these amazing looking commanders?
So for the commander set, the 2 commanders that we've gotten spoiled that are really good so far are Gonti, Canny. What is that? Is it Acquisitor?
Inquisitor?
Yeah, okay. Gonti, Canny, Inquisitor. He's Sultai. 2 black, green, blue for 5/5 Aetherborn Rogue. It's an outlaw. Spells you cast but don't own cost 1 less to cast. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, look at the top card of that player's library, then exile it face down. You may play that card as long as it remains exiled, and mana of any type can be spent to cast that spell. So this is basically a Tymna from the command zone that cares about your opponent's library instead of yours. You don't lose life, and you get a little bit of cost reduction in casting those spells.
Right, so if it's a 1-cost spell, it's a 0-cost spell?
Yes. But this is just a good commander at messing with your opponents, so it's worth noting. It's not as good as Tymna, but it's a Sultai commander that's could potentially just shred people's decks down.
I dig it.
But the main commander that's really good from all of this is
Whew.
Stella Lee Wildcard.
She's a wild one.
Wild one. One, a blue and a red for a 2/4 human rogue. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, exile the top card of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play that card. Meaning that if you cast a spell, or you trigger this on your turn, you can cast that spell on your opponent's next turn, and then trigger this effect again, and then use the card that you got from that trigger to trigger it again on the next opponent's turn. Meaning that you can draw a lot of cards off of this in one go. And there's more. You can tap this and copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. Activate only if you cast 3 or more spells this turn. That's a Isochron Scepter effect, meaning that this goes infinite with Dramatic Reversal. Alternatively, if you have any kind of Magecraft effect, it gives you infinite forks. So you can trigger Magecraft easily, you can Dramatic Reversal very easily, and you get a crap ton of draw in the command zone. Stella Lee is crazy.
Hold up. How does this work with Dramatic Reversal? The untap copy target insert sorcery spell may choose new targets for the copy. So untap, infinite mana. Whenever you cast your second spell, each turn exile the top card of your library until the end next turn. So you need the outlet in hand.
Yeah. It's an Isochron Scepter in the command zone.
Spicy as hell. I like her tapped a lot. The bonus value effect is fine. You know, it's not going to be an outlet for you unless you're flickering her. Well, actually, hold up.
It's a second spell each turn, so even if you flicker her, it doesn't work.
Yeah. I like it. I mean, what is your desired play line here? What is this doing that it's uniquely good at? Like you were saying, I think the audience mentioned the Stella Dramatic Reversal line as well. Does not combo with much. Stella does not combo with much outside of Dramatic, I guess.
I'll say Stella is just really good because you can do the whole Magecraft loop very easily. So if you have any Magecraft outlet, you can try to win the game off of that. The Dramatic Reversal line is really useful at just generating infinite mana, and then you can use your infinite mana to start storming off and hopefully draw through your deck, because you're probably making this deck very storm heavy. The main thing that I like for this commander is that you can double up on any tutor as well if you've gone far enough. So if you do get a tutor setup, you can tap Stella, get Dramatic Reversal and an outlet with infinite mana, try to win the game. Or you can get something that lets you try to win off of Magecraft or infinite copies or something like that, and more. So Stella is just a really good value engine on top of the fact that it can combo kind of easily. She's a good card.
I like her. I do like her. I would be curious to see her played. Sorry guys, you're going to see my face for a second. Hope that doesn't bother you. I just want to switch up things on our stream. I'm going to go to Scryfall. Starting to feel like a little under the weather here. I hope it's nothing serious. No, it's okay. One of my colleagues was sick and it's just like allergies, but maybe it's in my head. All
right. Well, going downwards, upwards from Scryfall, I guess.
Okay. Here, wait. Yeah, I'm on Scryfall now. Here you go, guys.
We've gone over a few of these already, so I'll go.
Yeah, we're just missing a few, but just so the audience knows, that covers all of the Commander Precon cards that we've gotten so far, which is just 4. We just want to cover a few more cards from the set that we weren't able to touch on just there. If there's anything we're missing or you want to talk about, let us know. But otherwise, what was missing that you wanted to chat on?
Also, Joshua was saying he was joking. He was being sarcastic with the Stella doesn't combo with much.
Oh, God.
Yeah, sadly, text is horrible at conveying any kind of emotion. But the quick things to go over, 2 that I've already talked about before. Hell to Pay. Deal X damage. Any overkill damage gives you tapped treasures. That's a good card for Magda. Tiny Bones is a recursive card that lets you get back your opponent's stacks pieces. we've talked about those. We can skip over those. But Lava Spur Boots, that was the one that you wanted to talk about. I think that
These are
might...
sick.
Yeah, I think that's actually the only thing that was cut off that was relevant. So yeah, Lava Spur Boots, let's go. It's 1 mana for an artifact equipment that has equipped creature has +1/+0, haste, ward 1, and equip cost of 1. This is debatably better Swiftfoot Boots, debatably better Lightning Greaves. So it's a cheap equip cost to get this in because it's 2 mana to give a creature protection and haste. That's really useful. It's on par with Lightning Greaves if you're not moving them around, and it's not Shroud, meaning that you can still target your own stuff.
Right.
Lava Spur Boots is comparative to Swiftfoot Boots because it's an equip cost of 1, so if you do have to move it around, it gets similar to Swiftfoot Boots.
Right.
It's ward 1, not hard protection, so it's not as good at protecting things as the other 2 boots, but it's still just another set of actual viable boots because ward 1 is still pretty good and haste is the main thing that you care about. They're awesome.
I would still, this is still on the consideration list if your deck needed it. And it's comparable to Lightning Greaves because, Greaves are 2 but 0 to equip. This is 1 and 1. So with the same amount of mana, you can play this out on the same turn as you would Lightning Greaves and still get the haste that you need foreseeably for whatever your effect is. I like Lava Spur Boots a whole hell of a lot. Could you imagine the Lava Spur Boots on Tivit? Is that just Ward 4? I think so. That would be kind of funny. Look all the trouble they go through for a fraction of our power.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what's funny though? Even just 1 ward early game is enough of a deterrent in my opinion. I think late game, they'll be able to pay for it. But damn. Yeah, boots again. I like. And we can pop up the new Magda for Magda.
Yeah. The new Magda, I think I actually know the card off of the top of my head. Potentially,
Try it.
Yeah, the only thing I can't remember is how many treasures you sack. But it's a 1 in a red for a 2/2 Dwarf Berserker that says when you commit a crime, you make a tap treasure token, and then this can only be triggered once per turn. Then sack 3 treasures, make a 4/4 dragon with flying and haste. Yeah, I was right! Activate only as a sorcery for that last part, but I was still right.
Yeah, I'll say that I like this art on Magda better than the OG one.
Oh, there's an alternate art too if you want to take a look at that.
I doubt it's going to beat this.
This Magda,
it's cute.
Magda is surprisingly enough another dwarf for Magda. Magda can also make treasures by committing crimes, which isn't too hard to do. And Magda, sorry, I'm just going to say Horde Master. Horde Master is also an infinite treasure outlet if you have infinite tap treasures because it gives you infinite hasty flying dragons that will let you just do combat damage and win. We already have enough outlets that we probably don't need this as another outlet. And it's a 2/2 dwarf that doesn't have any immediate effect and requires other cards to make treasures. It's still playable because it's a 2 mana dwarf that can do a little bit more than a regular dwarf. So good enough.
I think it falls into the Magda suite. You're right though. I mean, it is, and it's also an outlet. Again, once you have infinite treasures, you're making 4/4 flying dragons if you needed them with haste relevant. I like it. I think you're right. It's a tough. I don't know what modern Magda list look like, so I don't know where this necessarily squeezes in, but it's not bad. Also, this Magda just looks so much cooler. I like that. That look she's giving is just so good. But this Magda makes tapped treasures. Yeah, the treasures are hyper relevant.
Yeah. I will say, thank the Lord that for the first effect they say trigger only once per turn, because if it did not trigger only once per turn, this Magda would actually be a really problematic card. Because if you have anything that says sack a treasure, target thing, you do that thing infinite times. If you sack any artifacts and keep going, it's really dumb, like Grinding Station. Grinding Station would deck everybody out immediately, so your deck would be fine Grinding Station with the game. I'm very happy that they made that once per turn effect. That would be broken.
Mateus says they're playing 1/1 dwarfs. The slots everywhere. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't.
They're playing 1/1 dwarfs that cost 1 is the main thing. Costing 2 is the potential deal breaker for me. But it's people have been playing a lot of the weird 2-cost dwarfs too. I think it's probably fine. I believe in my version of Magda, I play a lot less dwarves and more treasure generation. People can run this. It makes sense.
It's a treasure generator, Will.
Yeah, it's a treasure generator that's also a dwarf, so it's another treasure generator.
All right, I'm not gonna lie. I want to open another pack of Fallout.
All right, if you gotta open them in 2s though. That's the feared.
I know. Well, we'll finish up the. Oh, no, we've got other stuff to open now. I mean, I figure we could do like 3 tonight, 3 the next night, and then crack. I think there's a box of something. There might be a box of something. Well, there we'll find something else to open. Did you want to open 2 more? Well, guys, sorry. That's it for all of the recent cards from Outlaw Thunder Junction. I mean, we filled up 2 hours of just the stuff that's been spoiled so far. It's all really good. If you're wondering if there's anything that you need to pick up as a Commander player from Outlaws of Thunder Junction, a lot of good stuff. I mean, frankly, I think there's a lot of good stuff. Aven Interrupter is probably my favorite. But what was your favorite card that was spoiled thus far?
It was 100% the Forsaken Miner. That card is so dumb and so gross and does so many stupid things. Really good in Yawgmoth and really good in a lot of random black combos because, hey, look at me. I committed a crime, so therefore I reanimate something for 1 over and over and over again. The card is dumb.
Get the bobblehead. Are the bobbleheads valuable? Sorry. Yeah, let me know what you guys found to be the best cards from Outlaws of Thunder Junction so far. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on what do you think is playable, what you want to play. It could be even niche playable. Like, I'm sure there's plenty of cards that we missed that are for specific decks. So if you run that list, let us know. Sisei and Johto really like all the legends. Yeah, I mean, every set you're getting more and more legends. So yeah, you're getting spoiled. Those 2 lists are getting spoiled. All right. Planes. Mechanized Production. It's a mythic rare.
Hey, look,
is mechanized
it's the better Bronze Butler, or whatever that freaking card is called.
Yeah. Is this card any good? I don't remember us talking about this.
Isn't that the win the game card? It's a reprint, I believe.
Oh, Mechanized Production? All right, well, it's clearly not played because no one's been winning the game with it. Single combat. Okay. Panharmonicon. Gotta love it. Tainted Woods. Ooh. Hey, Curie.
Hey, there you go.
This is a good card. Trust us. Trust us. Chaos Warp.
Yes, Warp.
I didn't know there was a new one. That's great. Synth Eradicator. Isolated Chapelle. This one's actually quite good. Mr. House, President and CEO. Okay. A couple of yes men down there. Mossfire Valley. Seen this one before.
Another filter.
Cultivate. Ooh, Dr. Madison Lee. Yeah, the art, like there's like these weird scan lines on the image. I don't know if you can really tell. Can't really get that close with this lens. I know what it looks
like because I've seen the art.
Yeah, they look sick. Oh, hey, Caesar, foil.
Hey, there you go. You got your Breath of Fury deck.
Yeah. Oh, shit, this looks so cool, foil. Ooh. Like, the little monitor screen looks so cool.
Nice.
Wow. They did a really good job. Last one's just a rad token, but yeah, it's probably one of the coolest looking tokens in the game right now. Oh, Becca. Alright, well. I mean, I might be coerced to open too. We'll see. I should probably eat dinner at some point.
Well, we're just evening it up. You got your one, then I'm getting my one. It seems fair.
Yeah, but thanks for hanging out, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're still hanging out, thanks. We're really just treating ourselves right now. But we'll definitely crack some packs of Thunder Junction. I don't like doing crack packs just by themselves. I find it doesn't make for exciting content. So if you're here, for me at least, if you're here, thank you. It's something fun. There is something fun about doing this, like living vicariously through some of this. after we talk about something. That's why we started this tradition. If this gets stale, though, let me know. Swampy Poos. Vault 21. Fervent Charge. We've seen a lot of that card. Arcane Signet. Oh, all right, that's playable.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's my favorite art. Clifftop Retreat. The Doom Soldier. The Doom Marine.
Yes,
Agent
I'm
Frank.
totally going to use that 7-mana kind of indestructible card.
Power Ganger. Sure. Temple of Plenty. Wow, these packs are just packed full of these lands. Duchess. Single Combat. Mutational Advantage. Single Combat.
Single combat again?
Third Single Combat. Let's go. No, General's Enforcer. Imagine getting 2 sets of dupes in one pack. Armory Paladin. Last one, Will. What do you want it to be?
I have no idea.
Nuka-Cola Vending Machine. Let's go. No. Assaultron Invader.
Is that that's Walking Ballista? That's actually really sweet.
That's really sweet. Dude, I did not know. And it's foil. Oh shit. It's super cool looking. What the hell, dude? I didn't know this was a card.
Hey, I can put that in my Bruna deck. I'm down.
Oh, Will, I'll trade you.
I'm pulling all the random foils that you want. First the Vandal Blast, then that.
Oh, dude, that's so cool. Oh, that's really neat. Yeah, do you use this as a finish? You don't use this in
You said Brina. Brina is a Gatling gun because I get a crap ton of stuff with Brina.
Yeah, did you all? This is just foreign to me. How did I not know that? How did I not know that they reprinted Walking Ballista in this set? I just want to get you a shot of those scan lines. They look so damn cool on the monitor.
New stuff, I think.
Yeah, I remember seeing the Azula though, like the bear.
Yeah, the Ayula.
Ayula.
That bear's called.
Sorry, I've been watching the new Avatar show on Netflix. It's just okay. You don't need to watch it. Trust me. That shit. What? Brina cEDH. Yeah, he's a Orzhov Brina cEDH deck.
Yes,
it's really cool.
I use Brina to draw through my deck while staxing out the game and making my stuff really big. Then I just punch people with a 20 power bird to one-shot them, or 21 power bird.
What? There's Hullbreaker Horror in there? Hullbreacher Horror?
Yeah, I knew about the Hullbreacher. Or yeah, it's Hullbreaker, isn't it? Yeah, it's Hullbreaker Horror.
God, yeah, no, I gotta stop there. I really want to see what they're
back on the card's name. Come on,
it's whatever. You're right though. Yeah, the OLED looks completely turned off there. Yeah, you can tell. You should be viewing this on an OLED screen. It's for the purest of blacks. Yo, that is sick as hell. This freaking Walking Ballista looks so cool. That might be one of the better ones, genuinely. I haven't played the new Fallout. Did I go over this story? My wife, her mom bought me Fallout 4 ages ago, and it's still in shrink wrap. And I didn't play it. I didn't even open it because I knew it would take up so much of my life. So it's just sitting somewhere in my house. I don't know why I would play it now, but yeah.
By the way, Mate said that you should pull up the Hullbreaker Horror alternate art.
It better look really cool, Mateus.
It's pretty cool.
Okay, no, I'm just kidding. Because I have the foily boy of the normal one. Ah, shit, that's sick. Actually, yeah, sorry. My switcher isn't working. Oh, damn, that's good. Prime Mirelurk Queen? Yeah, it's between these two, dude. The Walking Ballista and this one are sick.
You know what I'm waiting for, though? I'm waiting for Tidespout Tyrant to get a decent art.
Oh, come on. You don't like the Battle Bond one, minimally?
The Battle Bond one is the best one, in my opinion, but even that's like a super zoomed out version of Tidespout Tyrant.
I own the other one. I'm personally a fan of the other one, sir.
I own every art except for the anime art, and I think the anime art is one of my least favorite.
What do you mean, anime art of what?
Of Tidespout Tyrant. There's an anime art.
Oh. You know that? Kaiju Hullbreaker. Yeah, hell yeah. That's the way to go. All right, guys. If you enjoyed this video, thanks for watching. We really appreciate it. To show your appreciation, you can leave this video with a like. It goes a long way, seriously. I appreciate you guys coming out, though. We're going to be running a stream tomorrow morning for Sorcery. I'll have a guy I met recently in person, but I've actually worked with in the past, Kyle from Scourge Altars. If you've ever seen me play my Grim Monolith here on the channel, he actually, or at least his team did, I don't know how many people work with him or if it's just him, but he did the Grim Monolith for me. It's an actual Grim Monolith that I had painted over, and I'm glad that his team did it because it looks really good. But he'll be helping me build a very specific Wall of Fire sorcery deck, so hang tight for that. And then we should be on some form of regular schedule next week. I definitely want to do another program Friday. We should probably do a deck tech, if anything. We'll see. Will and I will piece together, but I wouldn't mind doing a deck tech and or like our regular tier list and or a full-on set review so you guys can get everything you need from this recent set. Maybe not a set review, maybe a legendary tier list. I think we covered so much from this that we could probably just defer people to this. But yeah, any thoughts, Will?
As I usually say, if you liked any of these cards or you want to buy the product and support the show, use our TCG Player affiliate link. It's should be in the description. I believe that we've finally gotten confirmation that we are once again Wizards ambassadors, and we were told, like, thank you for waiting through all the chaos. So it seems like the chaos is slowly tipping down, and we are officially ambassadors again. I say that in air quotes. I'm not sure, but yeah, look forward to some Wizards of the Coast sponsor content.
Yeah. Third quarter.
Precious.
third quarter. I think at some point we'll be contracted in some degree to make some Magic specific content, and expect it to be turned up. Trust me. I saw someone that was just featured on Watsy's channel. That'd be fun. But up until that point, we'll be doing some live streams and maybe some more pre-recorded work in the not too distant future. But yeah, hang tight. I know someone was asking me about Star Wars content. That might also come in the future. I need to get a lot more practice with it, though. So anyway, guys, I'm going to eat dinner. Enjoy your sup, sirs and ladies. And we'll see you on the next one.
Peace out.
Peace out, A-Town down. I am so excited to look through all this other stuff, Will.
Also, your mic got really quiet for some reason. It did not affect the stream. I checked it, and it was good on the stream. It got really quiet in Discord for some reason.
Okay. Do we open some Thunder Junction right now? I'm just kidding. It's okay if the audience knows. No, we can't. Yeah, we're definitely not going to be ambassadors if I do that.
No, you are allowed to open the Thunder Junction products early. You just can't show or share any of the information outside of people that are allowed to know.
No, I've seen what happens when you do that. So I'm not going to do that. Thanks for the stream. Of course. All right, guys. We'll see you later. That was fun. I'm very excited to open some OTJ.
Yeah. I thought we were already done.